Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the incomparable Win Twice Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Scott and Holly. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be entertained.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode number 7 of the Win Twice Wrestling Podcast with your co-hosts Scott and Holly.
Hello.
How you doing, Holly? Did you enjoy Christmas?
I had a lovely time, thank you. How
Good.
about you?
Yeah, it's alright. Always goes too quickly though, doesn't it?
Doesn't it just?
But we are back in the swing of things, again trying to do weekly outputs of episodes. And this edition was my turn to pick a show.
It was.
And I thought I'd go for one which would be very much in your wheelhouse.
It absolutely, definitely was in the wheelhouse.
So you'd have a lot of things to comment on.
Yeah.
And the show that I selected was WWE Evolution 2018, the first all-women's, and still, the first all-women's pay-per-view that WWE have put forward, or premium live event. I'm guessing that you saw this show at the time.
I did.
Did you how much of it did you remember?
Right, my memory is hideous, as we know. So, some of the outcomes I actually didn't remember. Every match I remembered happening. But
Really?
I didn't remember. Yeah, I actually did.
Wow, okay, better than me.
I didn't remember how it finished.
Okay. Well, we'll get onto that as we do the deep dive of the show in a little bit. So, yeah, WWE Evolution 2018 was held at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York on the 28th of October 2018 with an attendance of 10,900. One of the first things I spotted, which I thought was quite unique for this show, was the way they did the lighting in the arena. So instead of, it was a bit NXT-like, actually.
It was like a dark surrounding, but with spotlights only on the ring. Which
I think is probably, again, to enforce the fact it's women only. They're the focus. We don't want to see any nutters in the crowd for this show.
I thought it was to not capitalise on the fact that there weren't that many people there.
But 10,900, I think, is pretty good for that size arena, because I don't think it's too dissimilar in size to the O2 Arena.
Oh, okay.
And I think that maxes out around this number, so I genuinely think it was an idea to kind of just spotlight the women, so that would be the entire focus. Like I said, I think NXT takeovers, some of them have done that in the past, but again, that was back in the day, not so recent. So you might have a point there. I'll have to look up what the total attendance or the total capacity for that venue is. But notice that very early.
Yeah.
And the opening package focuses on the journey of women's division. So what did you think? 'Cause obviously, we've got a unique perspective in the fact that you are also female. So when you heard, I've heard, when you heard this was happening, what were your thoughts?
Intrigue, I suppose. At the time, I remember being like, "Oh, this will be good," but then also like layered with "But will it?" Because there's not that many. Oh, how do I say this without sounding horrible? No, just when have I cared? I'll just say it. I've not watched a lot of women's matches, especially in the last couple of years, where every single one I've watched, I've gone, "Oh, no one fucked that up," or "That was good. Oh, that was good. Oh, that was good." And I don't think it's just a women thing. I think it's an everyone thing.
Yeah.
So to just have a pay-per-view with solely women, also, I was a little bit concerned my interest would waver.
Okay.
No Randy Orton thighs.
No, that is true. There's no Randy. There's other thighs, but not Randy Orton specifically.
But no, that was at the time. I remember.
Did you feel empowered?
I'm the wrong person to ask about this because it's all well and good, and I think it's a great sentiment, but ultimately, I don't care.
Wow.
I know. I don't mean that to sound like let's take 50 steps backwards into, gender equality.
Yeah.
But I think it's great, and I think they in that industry especially, it's good that they're now not just divas and they're to just stand by the ring with bits of their body hanging out, but they still do.
I think it was a good set. From my perspective, I think it was, like you said, it was a good sentiment to put forward. It's not like there aren't other women's only promotions out there that are churning out show after show after show.
Yes.
Like Shimmer is a big one in the States. They do great shows, and a lot of the wrestlers that eventually make their way to AEW and WWE have at some point plied their trade in Shimmer. that's just one of many that I could mention. So it's not like it's not possible for them to do, but I guess the quality level of the women in the company would have meant that there is no way they could have done this even 3 years before this show took place.
I think this year, the year it was as well, it was like you've got a good selection of people there to choose from.
Because within a year, so from 2017 going into 2018, they'd had a lot of firsts for women's wrestling in WWE. They'd had the first Hell in a Cell. We see later on the show the first Last Woman Standing match. They'd had the first All Women's Royal Rumble this year.
Yes.
So they were ticking off a lot of the boxes on the way. And it's nice. And there was one sentiment, I can't remember who said it partway through the show, because they kept going away to snippets of the talking heads, as I call it.
Yes.
And one person said, I'd like it to get to the point where it's just, it is. Not, it's the first this, it's a reason to get excited, it's just accepted as the norm, which is...
That I fully agree with.
I agree, but I guess without doing the pomp and circumstance for the first, I feel like, I don't begrudge the celebration, I felt like they did overkill on a lot of things with regards to that, which, like I said, we'll get into as we go through the show. And the big resentment I have for it, and I might be alone in this, is the fact that Stephanie McMahon is front and centre on all this shit.
Yeah.
And I get it, you're a woman in the WWE, but it's not like you started at the bottom and scratched your way up to the top. You were always going to be, or have the opportunity to do this role that you were given.
Yeah.
Not saying that she isn't good at the role or anything like that, but you had, like, every opportunity was given to you already. That's not the purpose of this. You should have known enough to step back and let these women...
Say, this is about them, not me.
Exactly, whereas it feels like... And she did the same when they changed it from Divas to Women's title. It didn't need her as a woman to do that role.
No, it could have been anybody, actually.
And I feel like it actually detracts away from the fact it is her.
Yeah.
Because it's making it look like she's tacking on to the success story behind it. Like, again, I'm not saying it should have been whoever, like Joe Schmo, but who I don't know if they were doing, you know, the... guest announcers or hosts of Raw. Did they have full-time GMs at the time?
I don't remember.
They must have done 2018. So it could have been whoever at the time. Oh no, to be fair, I think that actually was Stephanie McMahon, because it was after the rebrand, wasn't it, where it was Mick Foley and her, but I think he'd gone by then. But either way, that point aside, it just hurt. She got very much up my nose in these packages that we see through the show. We also had a Little Mix song.
Yes.
Salute. I rarely note the theme for the event, but this one...
I always write them down, but it's very rare that I would ever talk about it, but I freaking love that song.
Oh, it's a good song, and it's very much, they were the flavour of the moment as well. I didn't realise they'd had any impact stateside, but I'm not particularly up to speed with the music goings on, but yeah, I think it was a nice touch and went with the theme of empowerment for women.
I'll say something though.
You always can say something.
Again, I just sound very anti-women, I think, but I don't mean it like that. Pay-per-view, this was solely women.
Yeah.
Great. The thing that I think about when they do things like this though, is they're not doing a pay-per-view and advertising it as, we're only having men. Because that wouldn't be allowed. People would complain. It's allowed, they can do what they like, but people would complain, there's no equal right in there, but it's fine to have one solely for women. Again, I get the sentiment and I get it, but it's funny.
I think
to me.
if you're ever considered to be in the position of dominance, so I guess historically speaking it's always been men over women, if you're doing it from the side of the majority, it's less well received when you do something like that. If you're, going by the letter of the law and treating everything equal, like you could say the same when it comes to, if you're evacuating a building or evacuating a sinking ship, women and children first. No, fuck them. Everyone's equal.
Again, I think we've previously talked about this, but it just makes no sense to me. But it does, but it doesn't. To
be fair, they've definitely had pay-per-views where it's just been men's matches, but they haven't actively advertised it that way, because why would you, I guess? But I see your point.
Yeah.
I just think, again, whenever you're on the side of the majority, or the not the moral majority, but specifically in terms of the numbers of people, it always borders on prejudice. If you try and argue that it's not equal, even when it's a fair comment, it's lost in the mire of it. I don't think I've articulated it particularly well.
No, I understand what you mean there.
But it's the same for everything. It doesn't have to be men and women. It could be done with nationalities and so on and so forth.
For sure.
Able-bodied, disabled, etc. And again, sticking with the theme of women, so I wrote down the names because I didn't know either of them.
Oh, yeah.
So Lizzie Hale and Nina Strauss. Nina Strauss I've heard of, but not heard of Lizzie Hale, whoever she is. Opening Evolution song to further cement the all-women vibe.
This I didn't need.
No, I didn't. But I don't like music performances in general with my wrestling because that's not what I'm there to see.
No, I agree actually because we've watched some together and I can't remember who it was, but there was
it Kid
a band
Rock?
for, and there was, oh god, I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering
What
this.
show was it? See if we can get there.
I want to say it was a WrestleMania. It probably wasn't.
There's always live band
Ronda
performance.
Rousey, the song that
I
she
don't come
was
to
up
have a
to, they
reputation.
performed live, and it was.
If it's
No, I didn't. I don't like it then.
okay, if
Snoop
it's
Dogg with Sasha Banks. No thanks. I'm not here for it.
I grant what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it. I'm not a fan of it, but if
Yeah.
I have to accept it, it needs to be for a theme as someone's coming out,
It's
not just a
preferable.
generic song.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Kid Rock's done it before, where he's done
Mm-hmm.
music partway through his show, and you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Retire, go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was where I was like, oh, it's already, bordering
Okay.
on overkill for me.
Yeah.
Because we'd already had, the opening package is fine.
Yes.
If they'd left it at that for the talking heads, even
Yeah.
with Stephanie McMahon, I'd say, okay,
Do
now
that.
you let the action talk.
Do your intros. Bosh, let's get on with it. Not 3 minutes of noise.
How did you feel about Renee Young
I freaking love her.
Doing-
I'm sorry.
or Renee Paquette?
I really like her.
I didn't have an issue with her. I thought she's a fine,
Very good.
fine behind the announce table. Beth Phoenix offers less, I think.
Yes.
She's not
She's less
awful.
she's less charismatic just hearing her voice.
Much, yeah.
If you know what I mean. Whereas
Yeah.
Renee you can listen to and she draws you in a bit, but Beth Phoenix is just, I'd rather watch her
Yeah, okay.
than listen to her, if that makes sense.
I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not a massive fan of, well, because I think Beth briefly did NXT commentary as
Yes.
well, and I didn't care for it then
Mhm.
either. But you can tell that Renee, and I'm not saying Beth wasn't, you could tell Renee's a big fan
Yeah.
of the product, because the stuff she was coming out with, she was referencing international things and other company
Mhm.
things, which is normally a no-no in WWE, depending on who does it. But that was quite good, and I thought she was added benefit, and I didn't even dislike Michael Cole being there.
I think he actually was the perfect person to
He was
have
the
with
anchor
those
point.
two. Yeah,
He
for
was the
sure.
anchor point. You needed someone there who could lead them both through.
Yeah.
Because if it was just, because there's no other female really
No.
that you could put behind there that would do the job.
No,
Certainly that was in WWE. I mean, they wouldn't be able to do it now either.
no.
But I didn't mind it,
Yeah,
and I thought it worked.
I think it worked. Yeah, the three of them together was a nice little combo.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't really pick up on any faux pas too much. I mean, actually, the person I noted, I didn't write it down, but it's worth a mention. The only person I noted, just hit the microphone there, that messed up a few of the move names was Michael Cole.
Right.
He kept calling things like suplexes that weren't
Okay.
suplexes, or just not giving them the right name, which does annoy me a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so opening match of the night.
Yes.
We start with Trish Stratus and
Mhm.
Lita.
Yes.
Probably the most reserved clothing that either of them have worn, certainly in the shows that we've watched.
Yeah, I did make a comment to say that this is the most clothes I've seen Lita wear in quite some time.
And she still nearly had her baps falling out the
Oh,
oven.
of course.
But yeah, I mean, fine. I mean, how old are they there? 40s? I don't know when in the 40s,
I mean,
but
if
early.
I can look like that when I, push over that boundary, I'd be quite happy.
Yeah, believing is achieving and all that. Is that a saying? Have I just made that up?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with it. And then I get very excited because
Yeah, this confused me actually.
yeah, and it confused me too because I went to start writing, oh, Alexa Bliss, and then she came out and started talking.
Yeah, I saw she had a mic in her hand.
Yeah, it's
and I
not
was
a
like,
good time.
oh, here we go.
And her gear looked on point.
The Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
theme.
borderline sensational, I'd
Oh,
say.
God. Yep.
And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember she was injured and had to pull out the match.
Mhm.
It was supposed to be her and Mickie James
Yes.
against Lita and Trish, and instead they had to substitute in Alicia Fox.
Oh, you sound so happy.
It's not the most upset I was on the course of this evening for people that turned up on the show, but this was definitely in my top 3 least favourite.
Oh, okay.
Because, she offers very little as a wrestler.
Yeah.
She offers very little as a character. And they always say she's the longest tenured woman.
Oh,
It doesn't mean
yes,
she's
I
good.
did hear all of that, and I was like, is she? Okay.
You go, oh, you have to respect that. You don't. I can respect that she can pick up a paycheck consistently,
Mhm.
but I don't. The only thing that she does, and I don't actually believe she does it in this match, funnily enough, so I can mention it now. She's got a very good bridge. So when she like hits something like a Northern Light suplex is what she normally hits.
Yes.
When she bridges, it's perfect.
Right.
It's probably better than anyone I've seen. Everything else, no. Literally everything else, no. So going into this match, how did you feel about the substitution? Do you think, obviously you'd rather have Alexa Bliss there, I assume.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about Fox as the replacement?
I don't know, because I'll be honest, I didn't really give it much thought. But who would I have put in instead? Yeah, who would you have... I mean, don't say anyone, but who would you have put in?
Michelle McCool.
Ooh. That would have been brilliant.
Someone from that era.
Yes,
Michelle
actually.
McCool.
That would have been a very good shout.
Then put Alicia Fox, which I assume she was going to be in that Rumble anyway.
Battle Royal.
I wonder who the last minute edition was there, because there's no way they were planning on it being like 21 people.
You know.
So who was there?
Shove Lana in.
But Alundra Blaze, maybe. I feel like she had to be there as well.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we're
getting ahead of ourselves.
Although Mickie James, here for it. I really like her.
Mickie James. What do you think about the flares?
I really like them.
Why is that different from the arm flares?
I don't know, but I really like them because I don't know. I actually don't know. Arms just annoy me. Like, don't put sleeves on.
Annoy you.
Like, put fucking sleeves on like a strappy top is stupid.
But
the leg thing adds a bit of something else.
Well, so does the arm things. It adds something else.
I'll be honest, I don't know. I just do. And because it's her, she's always, from what I remember, been of that kind of style. Yeah,
she went through a bit of a cowgirl phase
and then when she came out of that, it was like the below knee
flares.
Oh,
that's the only way I could think of describing them. Was flares.
I like it though. Do you think she'll come back? Because her husband is now...
Well, she was gotten rid of not long before he came in, so I'm going to say no. When she's done, she'd probably be a good person to train some of the women.
Absolutely.
I think some of the... And you see one of the trainers later on in the evening, who's brilliant. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know if she's still on staff there. I've got a feeling she might not be. But again, slightly getting ahead of ourselves. But I don't have an issue with her training. Whether she's got much more to offer in the ring, maybe not.
Yeah, I'd say because she's the same era as Trish and Lita, isn't she?
She's
really?
a little bit younger. She's like in the halfway house between the two generations, I would say. Because as they mentioned in this match, I think Mickie James was in Lita's quote-unquote retirement match. Mm-hmm. And she beat Trish. Well, they had a hell of a feud, actually, going in WrestleMania 20, I think it was, around that time.
Yeah.
So, she kind of came along towards the tail end of their run, but was there for what felt like forever. But I think she came and went a few times as well. And she even appeared, I believe, I think it was in the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble that year, with the TNA title that she held. I think that was this year, which I was very surprised about.
That they let that happen?
Yeah, because she couldn't have hid it.
Yeah.
Unless it completely went under the radar, and I'm sure she must have got that approved before she went in there. But it just shows how little of a threat TNA/Impact are to WWE, that they're not even fazed by showing their belt on TV. So, Alexa Bliss comes out, calls the veterans old before introducing Mickie and Alicia, and that's when I got sad.
Who are much younger, let's just be clear, but never mind.
Well, yeah, it's true, but because it was Alexa saying it.
Fair enough.
Because Alexa was like,
she's
24
younger than I am,
or something like this then. I said I forgot Bliss was injured, which made me very sad, especially when given the replacement. And that's why I put about noticing the drop lights in the crowd.
Yes.
I put Alicia Fox is not a wrestler. Has a fantastic bridge, but that is all.
Oh, okay.
All she's got. I thought Lita looked quite awkward when she came to the ring.
Yeah.
She, when she's doing the, come on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unsteady rather than like...
Unsteady, but didn't look like she believed in what she was doing.
Yeah, maybe.
Not that she was the best method actress of all time, but it just... something...
You won't believe in it.
I felt like she was very self-conscious going into this one. And she, fair enough. That's a perfectly valid feeling to have going into that when you've been out of the game for so long, other than the odd Rumble appearance or whatever else she did. And then when Trish gets in, so, I mean, Lisa actually had a couple missteps early on as well.
Yes.
So you spotted that as well, where she stumbled over from throwing, I think it was Alicia Fox into the ring. She kind of fell over somehow, not entirely sure how she did that. But when Trish gets involved, you hear pretty quickly the "You still got it"
Yes.
chant.
Yep.
And she hasn't missed too much of a step. There's a couple moments again in here which is less than ideal. When Mickey gets tagged in, the crowd actually erupt.
Yes.
I noticed.
Yes.
Remembering the history
the feud
between
them. That was very nice reaction from the crowd as well.
Because that was the biggest pop in the entire match, is when those two faced off.
Exactly.
So that was nice for Mickey, because, I mean, if we're being realistic and you look at the history of WWE, I'm not trying to diminish anything that Mickey's done, because I thought she was great. But Trish and Lita are on a different level in terms of how they'll be viewed.
For sure.
So that was really nice for her, and I was happy for her. There was a really stiff kick that Mickey hit. I think Trish ran into her when Mickey was in the corner, and Mickey just threw a boot out. Might have even been Lita, but caught her straight in the face, and it made that perfect slap noise.
Yeah.
And it just sounded like it might have broken her nose. And then Trish's handstand in the corner's blocked. This was the little bit of an awkward moment where she goes to do the Hurricane Rana, and she's like, no, we're not doing this, but I'll take your hand and I'll pull you up so you're okay.
Yes.
I get it, but I don't want to see... If you're seeing visible cooperation...
It makes no sense.
Exactly. It takes me out
Just
of
let
it.
them fall.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Obviously, safely.
Yeah, as
But
safely
do you know
as-
what I mean? Like,
said the cheerleader.
Yeah, no. Says the one with the broken knee, yeah. Before this, though, there was a little homage, shall we say, that I did fully enjoy, of course. Very much enjoyed it. However, Trish don't look too... I wouldn't have run and jumped on her, because there's no... And I think you can see as well from the way Lita does it, there is no real run and jump. It's just a slight push off. Yeah. Because it just doesn't look sturdy. So I'd have put Lita actually on all fours and do... I know.
What a sentence
but
that
have
is.
Trish do the run and the jump, because it still would have been the homage.
But it's the wrong person doing the homage.
I know, but do you know what I mean? It would have... People still would have got it.
From a physical standpoint, 100% agree, but I understand why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
At least she didn't try and do the exact way that Jeff Hardy would do it.
No.
And hit the legs to the face, because that would have killed her.
Absolutely.
And then they tease one of your least favourite moves, the twin suicide dives.
Oh, yes. That is noted. I literally think I paused writing and was like, no. Oh, okay, we're okay now.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen Trish do that. And the last time I saw Lita do it, she nearly died.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, worrying times. And then Bliss pulls Lita off the turnbuckles to prevent Elite assault.
Yeah.
And then Fox and James start isolating Lita, start working her over. The pace slows down. So there was a really awkward moment where Trish waits for Lita to hit her cue with the assisted Hurricane Rana.
Yes.
Because I think Lita had rolled out the ring, was supposed to quickly come in the other side so that they could do it. Whereas, was it Trish and Mickey had this weird kind of pause? And I was like,
you can see kind of behind the eyes, they're both going, what's that?
What's going on? And then you see Lita come in and they're like, oh, okay, so that was Lita's fault. Unless they did their bit too quickly, but I'm going to lean on it was probably Lita missing her cue, if I'm being perfectly honest. Then we have Trish hits a sit-out spine buster on James, but only gets a 2. And then she goes with those knife-edge chops, which she unloads with massively.
God. Slap, lick, slap. We all know it's coming.
What do you feel about the lick slap?
What is the point? Is it meant to in real life? Is it supposed to sting more?
No, I mean, would it grip more? No,
I don't know.
I thought it was supposed to be a dirty bitch thing.
If I'm doing this, my mouth is probably dry already. I'm not wasting whatever saliva I've got licking it on my hand. Well, I mean, she don't even do it. It's just fake, but it's just pointless to me. But then it's what she does.
I think it was supposed to be get
Dirty.
the guys excited in the crowd.
Does that excite you?
I cannot
anything.
comment on this.
Sorry.
No.
It's the wrong match to ask you that question.
No, to be fair, now I think it's dumb.
It's
Back
weird.
then, I probably gone, oh my god, her tongue's out.
Oh, okay.
So it's, which is why I think, why are you doing it now? Because she properly went for it as well. She was like a dog that's been starved.
It's odd.
Yeah. So we get that.
That's how I lick a twister. No, I'm like.
Fucking hell, you go at a twister, don't you? Jesus Christ, is there like a diamond in the middle or something? My God. So Stratisfaction gets a 2, but Fox interrupts before she's hit with a twist of fate herself. And then there's that awkward bit where they're trying to reposition next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
On the floor.
It's like, if we move small movements, no one can see that we're moving. just get up and walk there at this point, because it's so obvious. The camera is panned on all of you.
Would you rather them have done it like Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, fine. Just, at this point,
no.
just wave and be like, guys, I need to move, otherwise this is going to miss. It's so stupid.
So then Lita hits a pretty decent moonsault. I was concerned
because we've seen this overshot a few times.
That, and there's two of them, so I thought whoever's furthest away might die. And I think it was Alicia Fox as well.
Whoever's closest to Lita's just going to be fine.
Yeah, they're going to get missed. The other person's going to get killed.
Yeah.
But it hits absolutely fine. We get a chick kick that follows on Mickey, and she goes down like a sack of crap.
Of course.
And we see Trish and Lita walk away with a pinfall win. Right people to win the match?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was never not going to be them, was it, really?
No, even with Bliss, that wouldn't. But
No.
Mickey would have taken the fall either way.
Yeah.
I think this shows that, obviously, well, we know that Alicia wasn't originally supposed to be in the match, because there's no way she ain't taking the fall otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they just left everything the same, other than take out a couple of moves that were going to be in there. But starts off the show with a positive for the fans.
Yeah.
On the Holly W scale, I can only assume this is not a high start.
No.
I don't think it's awful.
I'd say it's a middle start for me.
I'd say just below that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
If I'm only doing it on a 3-part, it's either top, bottom, or middle. This is a mid card for me. It's a little W.
Because I think Lita, even though she has the moonsault and the Hurricane Runners, I think her in-ring wrestling is massively overrated, because that's all she hits. She doesn't all the joining.
Those are the moves you're just waiting for her to do anyway.
Twist of Fate,
of course.
Hurricane Runner, Lita Salt. That is it.
True.
Not to, because I can do any of that. Well, I can do a twist of fate.
But do you think there's any different to Trish?
Trish does at least the conjoining moves between. Like, she can do, like, transition holds. She'll do, like, locks on body parts and stuff. I can't even think of anything that Lita's done like that. And that might be... And that's why, for me, Trish will always be considered the better wrestler. Even though what Lita did was more visually spectacular.
Yes. Well, it's the difference of ability, isn't it? As in high flying and... grappling.
Oh, Christ, if Trish did a moonsault, I think I'd be really terrified. Really terrified.
Soft landing.
Well, actually, that's a good point on this, because she obviously had at some point a reduction.
Oh, yes. I know we talked about this ages ago.
We did.
These chesticles were not as ginormous. They were, to me, this is a perfect size. And then they get bigger. Within the year.
Because I was trying to work out if she'd had them the Lilo reinflated on this one, because I thought they looked bigger than they had last time we saw her.
Okay.
But maybe she was doing a gradual.
I wasn't watching that closely.
Well, nor was I. But I thought because we talked about it before. See, you're trying to get me in trouble here. And it's not going to work.
No, I thought they looked okay here. Not massive compared to what they are now. To me now they're a lot bigger.
Oh, they are. But I wondered if she's done a gradual upsizing rather than
like a little air pump, like a bicycle pump.
Some sort of pump for sure. So with that, women empowerment, everyone. So with that, we then finish the first match, and then we go to the Bella Twins being interviewed backstage.
Of course we do.
So you must have been pretty happy at this juncture.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know everyone hates them, but I don't.
I don't think everyone hates them.
I think they're very good at playing the characters that they do.
Bitches.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
I'm here for it.
So we see Brie interrupt at the start to have some sort of involvement to make her relevant.
Oh yeah, because she didn't wrestle here, did she? So it was like, oh, I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm still one of the Bellas. Yeah. Do they both have 02 on their back when they do that stuff? Because if she's got 02 and Nikki's got 01, I think that's...
I think it's both 02.
I thought so as well. But
I know Bella's is... Bella. I know Nikki's is definitely 02 because that's a t-shirt I have, so...
Not seen that t-shirt.
Yeah, no, it's a little snug these days. And not in a good way. Not in like a Nikki Bella snug way, shall we say.
Okay, right. Well, I mean, I'm happy to be the judge on that if needs be, but I'll take your word for it for now. Both women in this segment insult Ronda Rousey's mum.
Of course they do.
Because...
Why not?
Why not, I guess. And they make her an honorary Bella, member of the Bella Army, was it? Yes, I think they said.
That is, yeah.
Because that's a thing. Was that ever a thing?
Well, yeah, it was a thing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it to do with their show, or was it to do with wrestling?
No, I think it was a wrestling thing.
Man, I tuned that out then, didn't I?
Yeah, they did a lot of... With their fans, they called them all the Bella Army, and... Yeah, it was, I mean, having...
Well, it's better than the Bell Ends, I guess, isn't it? You've got to have some sort of name.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll trademark that at some point.
Yeah, and they kept talking about the Bella-lution rather than the...
Bella-lution. Sounds like
Evolution. It was the Bella-lution.
Sounds like you've got some sort of stomach disorder.
Oh, it sounds like what I would take my nail varnish off with to me.
Bella-lution. Yeah. Okay, yeah, well, many things. So Nikki says that she'll leave her show as Raw Women's Champion. We will see later on in the card.
Won't we?
And then we see a few talking heads talking of how proud they are to have come
Yep.
so far in terms of women's wrestling. And this is where I was like, this is going to be a continual theme through the show. And I was already a little frustrated at this point on it.
Yeah.
At least, the only thing I'll say in their credit is that they went to different women each time.
Yeah,
it wasn't the same people.
Yeah, I did make a note of one of the women they went to, and I was like, oh, I love her. But
Who was it?
could you work out who that was?
I can't even remember because I didn't write down who was in each.
Good old Kelly.
Yes. Yeah.
She's
I do know
just
that.
ridiculous. Like, stunning. To me.
Yeah.
To me.
Like, yeah,
If I was inclined that way.
I'm aware she's not ugly, but
Yeah. She's got very long arms.
there's something vapid about her. Just like, yeah, I can't. I'm very aware that I'll be in the minority for this, but yeah, not even a flicker for me. I'm sure she'll be devastated with that news. But we move on to now the 20 women battle royal for a future shot at the women's title. But you're about to say something.
But I have a question for you.
Go for it.
I noticed on commentary that Beth Phoenix is wearing a t-shirt, right? And she's wearing a t-shirt of a women's wrestler who you have shown me before, but I couldn't remember who they were. And it was an old school women's wrestler who had all the lines drawn
Luna
on her
Vachon.
face, was short. She had like not a buzz cut, but
Like shaved on one side and blonde.
yeah. And
Luna
I
Vachon.
saw, and I was like, who is that? I was like, oh, Scott will think I'm so clever if I remember. And then all I could do was Google women's wrestlers with lines on their faces, and that really didn't help me whatsoever.
Yeah, if you Google Luna Vachon, that's
Okay.
who it is. Really raspy voice, and I think Beth Phoenix in one of her comeback matches paid homage to her.
Yes, I've
I
seen
can't
her
remember when she died, but she's been dead for a while.
do that. But I noticed the t-shirt, and I was like, I'll bring that up for some
Yeah.
brownie points.
I didn't even spot that, so yeah.
I was looking at the clothes, that's the reason why.
I try and, as best I can, for the most part, I'll put like a little comment like whether I think it looks good, but I won't go into great details of it because I think
Because you know I'll be watching
Holly's
what
got
they're
it covered.
wearing.
Holly has
Yeah.
that avenue
Absolutely.
completely sealed off. I don't need to go down there.
Yep.
So, we see Naomi being introduced first,
Perfect person to start it.
and so are the announcers.
Yeah, I knew that would annoy you.
At least they let her get pretty much all the way into the ring. Oh god, what have we
Yeah,
got?
sorry Naomi. The announce teams are far more important than you. Also, when this started, of course it started in German, by the way. I meant to say that at the beginning. Standard.
Mine did. So I started watching this show downstairs.
Yeah.
German. Changed it. Got an hour and a half through it.
Yeah.
When I next went to watch it, was up here. German.
Yeah.
Started again. I was really annoyed. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, changed it back. I was like, it's fine on both tellies. Finished it up yesterday downstairs. Fucking German again.
Yeah, because I press play, and you know they do like before the show starts, they do the then now forever stuff, and then I was getting a drink, and that's when I sent you the photo of me ready with my drink, and I stood there, and literally if you could have seen, I think you'd have laughed. I looked up to the ceiling because apparently that's where all the answers are.
All the German answers.
Why does this sound weird? And I turned around, and I was like, fucking German. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I got caught
Did
out
make
a
me
few
chuckle.
times. Right, so after Naomi, I put, oh hey, Michelle McCool.
Yes.
Looking on point as well.
I really like her, again.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we'll have to go back and see some of her actual matches for me to remember how I felt about her. But in this match, she was actually pretty good, I thought.
Yeah.
But I put a list of the competitors because I didn't want anyone to not get named in this. So you'll bear with me as I rattle through
I've only done
them.
it as and when they've appeared, which I did miss some out because I also didn't care.
Well, that's fair. So we've got... this is the Afterthought Battle Royal where you don't have an actual programme.
Yeah, let's just shove you all in because
basically,
then you get on telly for 5 minutes.
Get a payday.
Absolutely.
So we've got Naomi, Michelle McCool, Alundra Blaze, Carmella, Zelina Vega, Sonia Deville, Kelly, Tamina, Ember Moon, Lana, Maria Kanellis, Mandy Rose, Molly Holly, Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Ivory, Asuka, Tori Wilson, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay.
Yes.
So that's everyone I got down. And I just want to take this moment actually because Tamina recently retired. I just want to sincerely say thank you for retiring because it was long overdue. You offered very little. The wrestling, I'm glad that you've got money. I hope you enjoy retirement, but if I never see you wrestle again, it will be too soon still. So we start off with the Iconics, slag everyone off, and I genuinely miss them.
I knew you would, because not forgotten about them at all, but because they, obviously they're not there anymore. They're busy having multiple children. So they're not anywhere else either.
Well, they were in Impact for a bit.
Yeah, but like not for a long time now.
No.
And then I saw them and I was like, oh, I forgot how good they were together. Like they're
The right kind of annoying.
Yes, the voice is shrill, but they're playing on, because they don't sound like that normally. They're playing on obviously the Aussie factor, and then I tried
a TV show.
the Aussie factor. Yeah, it's like X Factor, but it's whether you're allowed to stay in Australia or not.
Brilliant.
But it wasn't as shrill as Vicky Guerrero's.
No, that was a
shrill.
different kind
Do you know
of shrill.
what I mean?
That's
And
different species shrill.
Yeah, I liked it, and I was like, oh yeah, I think WWE misses.
Yeah, I wouldn't
like
be
this
surprised
at
if
the
they ended
minute.
up going back there at some point.
No,
if
can
they
only
ever
hope.
are looking to do so.
Yeah.
I even like their entrance theme.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah, I can't even hit those notes, but it's
No.
really, yeah.
But you could do the poses though if you really wanted to.
Iconics!
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot how good they were. And do you know what? They're actually very good wrestlers. And speaking of women that have come through Shimmer, which I mentioned earlier, these are two of them. And yeah, from what I've seen backstage as well, they're both sweethearts as well, especially Billie Kay. She's just so nice. I remember she was interviewed not long after, because I think they were both cold during lockdown, the first lockdown that we had. And it wasn't the UK that got her fired, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And she was being interviewed and she started crying. She said, I was so happy to be there, and I just felt gutted for her. So I'm hoping one day they'll get the opportunity to come back there and show what they can do, because they're actually both very good wrestlers as well.
Yeah.
So after they slag everyone off, they get in the ring. Obviously they've pissed off everyone and their mother.
Oh, of course.
Ronda Rousey's mother, probably, because she's got to mention earlier. And then they're eliminated immediately, and then I'm sad again.
Yeah. I get it, because that was always what they're playing to have that happen. But also sometimes you kind of think, don't have it be so predictable.
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah.
I agree. But then you're starting to go down the school of thought of Vince Russo, where the objective is to make sure everyone's guessing at all times, so you never know what's going to happen. That also doesn't work, so that's chaos.
True.
But I mean,
the
you
straight
knew
in,
but
jabba,
there always
jabba,
has to be
jabba,
someone.
straight out. Yeah, of course.
There always has to be someone. Just a shame it had to be them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the person that I would have done it on, based on their character,
yeah,
even though I like them, this wasn't the era for them. Carmella, just have her come out immediately, say, "Let's do a dance break." She dances, then gets yeeted immediately.
Yeah.
Because she's not offering anything now. It's not the same Carmella that we had. We've already lost. That's mad.
You've already lost.
Within a year of her coming up to the main roster, we've lost her to this, the dance break stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I did love her when she was paired with R-Truth. I thought the two of them together, but I think that's because I like R-Truth.
Yeah.
He can do no wrong in my eyes.
R-Truth is very funny.
He's a legend.
But I didn't like the union of them. She lessened him. And it's weird, because individually, I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
But putting them together, it was a sum that was less than the parts.
Yeah.
Somehow.
No, I know what you mean. I think Carmella, when she was paired with... The pairing, actually, that I really enjoyed, as much as he's really fucking annoying, was her and Ellsworth?
James Ellsworth, yeah.
Together, because it worked. Because she, to me, was better... Oh, not better. Better, I can't think of a better word. But better than him, if you know what I mean. So it was kind of like... Who the fuck is this guy?
So he's got, like, worshipping her.
Yeah, so it worked. It was like
it
when they did Mandy Rose and Otis.
To be fair, I was going to say, they could have actually done, like, Otis and Carmella in that situation, because he's like a bumpkin, so it would have worked again there. So after we got the Iconics sadly yeeted quite early into the match, the current women encircle the stars of yesterday, and an all-out brawl breaks out. Of course. They have to kind of stagger these kind of moments in the match. You have to have certain set points, otherwise it's just very boring and hard for people to keep their attention. If you look at some of the battle royals that they used to do back in like 80s and 70s, you could do whatever because people were just excited for who's involved. Now you need to have set moments, otherwise people are going to be like...
we've seen these before, like...
Yeah, so you have to kind of look at your watch and go, oh, are they still... Okay, well, there's a few people left. I can go and grab a drink and come back.
Oh, I see.
That's how I view
beer
it.
break time.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I'm thinking in terms of the match card, which is the beer break match. And for me, probably the worst two matches on the card are the first match and the last match.
See, if it's me, at this point, not necessarily now, but at the point that this was on, I would have gone and stocked up on beers after this.
Yes.
I would have 100% seen those people are left. I know who's going to win that. I'm off. I'm going to go get beers and come back and miss the beginning of the next one.
And that's why I like having you at my side at these wrestling events, because it makes my life very easy.
Absolutely.
To be honest, when we were at Wembley, the guys thought I was sending you on errands.
Oh.
Every time it was your choice. They said, "Oh, you got her well trained." I said, "No, this is all her doing. Trust me."
I'm a good easy jet flight person, so
Honestly.
I just get straight in,
Brilliant,
straight to the front and back out again.
Yeah, I think I only did 1 or 2 beer trips myself. It was excellent. So, Rose and Deville eliminate Molly Holly pretty early, and then they remove Kelly Kelly pretty quickly thereafter.
Yes.
Kelly Kelly was never a strong in-ring.
No, I do know that.
I think Molly Holly should have been in there longer, because she was actually quite good back in the day.
It did confuse. I don't remember. This is the thing. I remember this match. Didn't remember who was in it. And don't remember who won or the order they're eliminated. But I do remember when she got eliminated, being like, "Oh, why would you have her in for less time than some of the other people that were in there for longer?"
I'm still trying to work out then who is the last minute addition, because the fact that Molly Holly went out so early makes me think it might have been her.
I don't know though, because she's in every time there's a comeback.
But if you look at everyone else on that list,
I'm trying to think if there's any newbies that they would have just shoved in. Zelina Vega.
Yeah, but she plays quite a key role later on, doesn't she?
Yeah, true.
Maria Kanellis, because she'd only given birth 4 months before, but she had a couple moments in the match as well, which makes me think
they would have intended on putting her in there. My only other option was Lana.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she would have been around, but then...
I don't know, that music is just annoying.
Yeah, I don't know, when you think about it, it's hard to kind of work out who they've shoved in on the last minute.
Because I'm convinced Alicia Fox would have been in this match, and you wouldn't have 21 women.
Yeah,
or maybe you would.
That's a really weird number.
It is, but maybe who cares at that point, to be fair. So maybe they were.
Unless it was 22 and they just took her out.
No, because there was 20 in there, so it would have been 21 with her.
Yes, makes sense.
Or, like you said, they just... maybe it should have been 22 and someone pulled out, and who cares?
Who knows?
Massively overthinking something that's entirely irrelevant.
Absolutely.
So, after Kelly goes, Wilson... I put Wilson, I was like, the fuck's Wilson? Tori Wilson.
Of course.
Nearly eliminates Deville, but is kneed into oblivion by Rose. Looked brutal.
It did.
Well, because I think it was fine. I don't think she got injured out of it, so that's good. And then as Sonya Deville is kind of talking smack to Tori Wilson, Mandy goes, bye, shoves her in the back, Sonya goes out.
Again, to me, have that a bit later, because why would you, when you look in the ring, this is my logical head though, you look in the ring and you look at who is left and you go, yeah, I tell you what, let's get rid of my teammate when there's all these people left.
Yeah.
No, stupid. Makes no sense.
Do you know what also would have done well for this? The Iconics. If they got rid of... No, seriously, if they got rid of a few people, you could see them being catty enough to do that to each other.
Yes.
Whereas Mandy and Sonya, in the way that they're portrayed, are supposed to be more intelligent.
Yes.
You'd think, like you said, that would happen longer. So if they wanted to do that early doors, the Iconics might have been the shout for that. But again, we're playing fantasy booker here. We then go to Nia Jax, who very, very slowly throws a Lundra Blaze out. I mean, to be fair, the woman's 50-something.
Yeah, I think it's obviously intentional. It's a light throw out, because she even puts her feet down on the floor and walks away. There's no fall. It's
not even a fall.
It's a gentle place over the top rope.
And I'm surprised Nia didn't kill her, to be fair, because the way that Nia deals with women at the best of times, but the throw was fine, but the way Alundra Blaze went over so slowly, I was convinced she meant to sit on the apron and then get up, but she kind of sits on the apron and then just pops herself off.
Out. I did think that too.
Which I thought was quite amusing, but again, fair play to her, because some of her matches in the 90s, mid-90s, were actually pretty good.
Oh, okay.
She was very much ahead of her time, and so I'll give her a little shout out, because we're probably not going to really touch upon an Alundra Blaze match for at least some time anyway.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, but the content of the matches that she had, specifically with Bull Nakano in WWE, were brilliant. So they got rid of the women's title in the promotion after, I want to say, late 80s. It just kind of went away.
Right.
And then they brought it back in a tournament, and she was the person that they crowned the new champion. So her original name, which is what she goes by now, she does Monster Truck.
Yes.
Yeah, so Medusa. That was the name that she always was. She started off in AWA out of Minnesota back in the day. She's got a strong bond with Paul Heyman as well. Did you by any chance see her?
Of course I did. This is how I actually know anything about her.
But that was good though. That whole episode, I thought that was nice. So yeah, it was good. It was nice that she was able to be a part of this show, even though she was offering nothing in terms of in-ring. But fair play. I didn't begrudge her being here.
No, I didn't actually.
So Alundra Blaze has gone out. And then Maria starts kind of kicking off here. So Maria hits a red muffin Bronco Buster.
Yeah, see, I said, this reminds me of the old Friday nights.
Right. Okay. Elaborate if you would.
No, I can't. But it was a bit much. I know. But it just made me laugh.
So,
okay.
Tamina was chowing down on a bit of cinnamon muffin.
Yeah.
But then Maria, after she does that, is thrown out by Nia Jax.
Which, fair play to her. You've come in, you've done enough. You've birthed a child.
4 months later.
No, it was a bit much.
So then Tamina and Nia face off in who is the shittest female wrestler of all time competition.
They're related, yes?
Ooh.
No?
I don't think they are technically related. They're always classed as being part of the wider Samoan family.
Okay.
But I don't actually think there's any blood relation there, other than the fact they've got Samoan
It's just
ancestry.
that's how it's linked in wrestling, effectively. Cool.
Basically. I could be wrong.
Because I got well confused because I just lost
the will
understanding, and I was like, are they not? I don't understand why they're making such a big deal of these two facing off.
Really. But I was going to say the crowd even made quite a big fuss that these lads are about to go at it.
Stop! You can't say that.
What? Say what?
Lads.
Well, I was just using it as a colloquial term for more than one person. Okay, these two ladies.
Yes.
She beasts. Can I go with that? Because that's
being someone that's called lads repetitively at work.
You got called lads twice by the same person.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was very funny. Your face for that.
Livid.
But I digress. So Maria's thrown out, and then Tamina and Nia face off.
Lana tries to get involved.
She's missed her cue. She's jumped ahead.
Of course she has.
Because she's going, no.
They ignore her or look at her as if to go,
and then she gets a stray hand, and then everyone gets knocked down, and then second time of asking,
here we go.
She comes back and goes, I don't know what she says, no, don't do that.
Don't fight.
And then does a weird pose.
That's the whole point of what you're doing right now, love.
Yeah, I mean, and then she gets thrown out, and I'm like, good.
Yep.
Go. And when I'm celebrating that Tamina and Nia have thrown someone out, it's not your day.
Yeah, no.
It's not your day at the office. So we then see, I put quadruple suplex, where half the women suplex the other half of the women.
Yes, I did 4x4, I didn't know what it was called.
This is like something that you would frequently see it's quite a Mexican type of wrestling performance to do, but see it a lot in Chikara, which is again a promotion you never would have heard of, but they love, as soon as you have multi-man matches, there's got to be a moment where everyone is doing something on each other.
Okay. The commentary, though, when they did this, I did not think was very kind.
Right.
Because someone, I can't remember who, goes, I can't believe the ring didn't just fall apart.
Yes, I heard that. I think it was...
it's just 8 people.
Was it Renee?
I think it might have been, but
it wasn't Michael Cole.
No, it was a woman, definitely. So it was either Beth or Renee, and I think it was Renee. But I heard it and I went, why?
I think it's supposed to be impactful, because I thought... When that happened, I nearly wrote down and said, I wonder how Holly would feel if she was in the match.
I literally wrote, all right, calm down. They'd be getting a strongly worded letter from me if I was in that match.
And then, right from that, where everyone's pretty much down, Carmella takes this opportunity to have a dance break.
Yeah, of course.
And then Ivory joins in.
Honestly, that was embarrassing.
Go back to your right to censor days, love.
Yes.
I didn't need this. That's what Ivory should have done. She should have come out with the right to censor thing. But I guess I don't know how that would have worked. But anyway, just awful.
Yep.
And then Mandy goes to bounce Ivory, but instead gets eliminated by Carmella, which I thought was something.
Fine.
I think Carmella should have been gone myself. Someone that they did book pretty well in this match actually was Ember Moon, and you could see that they were really trying to get behind her after she came up from NXT, because it can't have been too long after this, because I think in the Rumble she was still NXT at the time.
Okay.
So this is, to be fair, was this October, this show?
Yeah.
I think it was near Halloween, wasn't it? I don't think she'd been on the show too long, but they were really putting a bit of emphasis behind her. They really
pushed her, didn't they?
And she was good.
She was good. She would be a perfect candidate for my dream cruiserweight women's division.
She's short, but she's built thick.
I know she's strong, but and I just look at her and I just think, she's so good.
She's very good. Now she's obviously back in AEW / Ring of Honor as Athena, which was her name before she went to WWE. I feel like WWE massively dropped the ball on her. Really,
because they pushed and pushed and pushed, and then all of a sudden
gave up on her entirely.
There's nothing.
I don't know if she got injured at some point and they kind of lost a bit
There
of
was
momentum.
one, I can't remember when it was, but she had, didn't she have a title match or something? But the night before, or she had something, I can't remember what it was, but the night before she must have still been doing NXT as well.
Well, she was NXT champion.
Maybe it was then, because she then fought the next night with her arm literally wrapped up, couldn't move it, and you could actually like see should this match even take place, but it kind of has to. And then I think after that it just kind of fizzled away.
It's difficult because when someone gets injured like that, you obviously don't factor that into long-term booking or even short-term booking. I don't think there's anything wrong though when an injury happens to a champion and you forfeit the title and then you do something different with it right thereafter, because it's presenting a new opportunity to showcase a different thing. It does, just because it hasn't followed the story doesn't mean it's a deal breaker.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're very hit and miss with whether they follow that or not. Like you said, for example, the ideal thing is for, unless it was a work and she wasn't actually injured, then fair enough.
If she wasn't, good on that acting.
Yeah.
Very good.
But you see what I mean? Like if that wasn't a real injury and they did it, you get it. But if she's injured, just don't bother doing that, because they pulled Bliss out of this show and she didn't look fucking injured at all.
No.
I don't know what the injury was. Maybe
she had her tits done.
Well, no, she hadn't had it done at this point. I don't think that was much later on. Yeah.
Who knows? Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's put me in a bit of a dark place, but it's all right. So yeah, Ember Moon then kindly asked Dana Brooke if she's ready before she suplexes her out of the ring.
I did hear that.
But it was good because I was like, was Dana supposed to land on the apron? Because she goes out and lands, and she was in the transition from going from the muscle bound.
I actually really liked her once they stopped her, or once they stopped pushing that whole. Because I mean, outside of WWE, she did do bodybuilding shows, which great, fine. But then once she kind of leaned down a little bit, and she got into a bit of a stride with her wrestling, I was like, actually, she's got the gymnastics background. She's not awful.
She was for a long time.
Yes, agreed. But obviously I think she must have been getting a bit of training, like more training.
Well, they put her back in NXT.
And I thought that was very good. But then, of course, she was an easy one to take out if you're having to get rid of people.
But she survived many culls before that when you could have argued it, whereas she actually started to improve, and then they got rid of her. Because they put her back down in NXT, didn't they? And that's when
that
they
was
got
a good
rid of
move,
her.
I thought, as well.
Yeah, she was definitely improving. I wouldn't say she was world class or anything. But you could tell that there was definitely strides in the right direction for her. So McCall gets involved at this point. She hits a big boot as Moon springboards back off. Looked good, kept her balance well. Thought that was executed very well. And then she's quickly eliminated thereafter, though, by Moon still. That's a shame. I thought... Also, because Ivory's still in at this point.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen McCall out later than... Yeah.
Because I think they give McCall a good run in one of the Rumbles where they keep her in for quite a while.
She does.
And I think that's probably what my brain was thinking at this point. Because I reckon when I saw this, I wouldn't have cared overly that much.
No.
But now, looking at it with a critical eye, shall we say... The things that I would have changed. So Tamina backdrops Naomi out the ring, and I cannot believe she's still in it. I just cannot believe this. I mean, you told me that you laughed when you saw her come out to the ring.
Yeah,
Did you know how I'd feel?
Yeah, I did.
Well, okay. Yeah, all right. Carmella doesn't get the speed required on a head scissors rotation.
This is awful, and you could have heard a pin drop, because even commentary say nothing.
For a second.
And then...
There you go. Cole goes, that's unique.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, code for that shit.
Yeah, it was awful.
Entirely Carmella's fault. She didn't get the run-up right.
No.
Because then she tried to carry on doing it, and Moon's like, no, it's not going to work. Because she would have just smacked her own head on the floor. Yeah,
and then, in theory, that happens. Moon just do a side body drop.
Which is what I thought she was going to do. And she kind of eventually spun it round into something, but it was a little bit too late. But I don't put the blame on Moon for that one.
No. But yeah, it was one of those, you watch it and you go, and there it is.
And then Ember sends Carmella on her way.
Of course.
Ivory is shortly removed thereafter thanks to Asuka with her flying backside, is what I called it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it, but this was... Asuka looked good here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
is your favourite.
Yeah, because she's a very nice girl. She's quite pretty as well. It's just... And her wrestling is... The only person that I couldn't argue that she's better than in the company is Flair.
Okay.
but for me, she's pretty much above everyone else. I think actually now with the likes of Io Sky in there and Kairi Sane, they give a good run for her money. But yeah, big fan of Asuka. So Ivory's now gone.
Yeah.
Moon throws Asuka out of the equation, which I was quite surprised by. Which I think...
Like the NXT chance that when the two of them together, I thought they could have had a tiny little bit more time. Just these two. I thought that would have been a nice touch. But then also I understand the pace of a match.
They actually had a feud for the NXT Women's title, so it's when Asuka was on her, long undefeated streak.
Oh, yeah.
I think Moon lost to her twice,
right.
And then when Asuka left, Moon became the champion shortly after. So then Asuka's now out of the equation, which was surprising because she'd won the Rumble that year.
Yes.
Then she follows up with an Eclipse, and Tamina's gone. So one of the big hosses is out the match. The Eclipse is a good move, though, isn't it?
Yes, I
really
do like
good
that.
move.
But also, this is where I just switch off. Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's pointless.
So are we talking about the bit that happens right now? So we're left with Jackson Moon.
Yeah.
The crowd want Ember to win. That's clear.
Of course, yeah.
That's clear. And then Zelina comes out of nowhere and
Honestly.
nearly wins it all.
Honestly.
So I'm guessing you were furious at this point with
Yes.
Mrs. Alistair Black.
Yeah, in
Wonder why.
more ways than one.
And then Jack breaks Vega's... Jack? Who's Jack? Jack the lad. Jack's the lad. Breaks up Vega's celebration. Military presses her to the floor.
Yes.
Where she bounces off Tamina's face.
Yeah, that didn't look like that was... To me, didn't look like that was meant to be the right placement,
100%
surely,
not.
because you literally see Tamina's head
But it's the
rocket
boof,
backwards.
And then Zelina splats off the mat as well. I'll be honest, I shouldn't have. I laughed.
No.
I saw it was just the boop. It was like slap.
Should I go to touch your mouth though and be like,
No,
my teeth are still here.
I expected like Curb Your Enthusiasm music to play right at the end of it. It was funnier than it should have been. And again, I don't know who's to blame there. Did Tamina fuck up? I'll be
Tamina
honest.
would definitely have been there to cushion the fall
100%.
of the live.
But did
Vega.
Jax launch her further than she should have?
Probably underestimated quite how light she was.
Problem is, because Jax and Tamina are, how do I put it, dog shit. Like, I can't work out who's to blame there. That's the thing, because there's probably a valid argument either way. All I know is who wasn't to blame. Zelina.
Well, no, obviously she ain't doing
yesterday's
nothing.
crap. So, yeah, so now we are down to the two that we thought we were down to. Nia splats Moon with a choke bomb, and Moon sells it like a treat.
That was very good, actually.
The way Moon kind of recoiled off and then was
It
out.
wasn't an oversell either. It looked actually like that would have been the correct result, if you know what I mean.
agree. And then she gets up, tosses her to the floor. So Nia wins. So Nia's earned herself a shot at one of the women's titles. She cries in the post-match interview, and I don't understand why this is even happening.
This was odd to me also, because to me this was her breaking character.
No, she was a good guy.
Was she at this point?
She was a good
she
woman. Good
hadn't
guy.
turned into a heel or whatever by this point.
She started off as a heel and then went...
Okay, then that makes sense then. I just couldn't... I think because obviously we're not watching them in order either.
No.
So it's like trying to remember
but
which
also,
person she was.
To give you some more credit for that, if you listen to the reaction in the matches, she ain't getting cheered.
No.
It's only they kind of don't do anything after she's won the match and then cheer her a little bit, I guess. But they did not want her to win that. Then she leaves the ring and she embraces the Rock's mum at ringside. Old Ava Johnson. Well, not old. Well, I guess old. Then the announcers talk about women's empowerment before transitioning to the second year of the Mae Young Classic.
Oh, yes.
So, now this is a match I was very, very looking forward to.
I wonder why.
No, not for the reason you think.
Okay.
Not mostly for the reason you think.
Yeah.
So I watched both Mae Young Classic tournaments.
Yes, I remember you talking about it,
Yeah, I watched the Cruiserweight Classic as well. And Tony had been obviously in both of them.
Right.
So the final for the second year was Tony Storm against Io Shirai. So Io Shirai was actually supposed to be in the first tournament as well, because her and Kairi were signed at the same time from Stardom, which is a Japanese women's promotion, which is very, very good. But Shirai got injured and was out for quite a while. So I don't know if that delayed the signing of her. I think it did.
Right.
So she was out of action for a while, missed the tournament, because there were talks of Kairi Sane's very good, but they were saying Shirai was a little bit better. and the rumour and the thought process behind it was that Shirai was favourite to win the first tournament. She was taken out of it. Kairi Sane wins.
I see.
Shirai's ready to rock and roll for the second one.
Yeah.
Toni was in the first tournament, got to the semi-finals before she lost.
Right.
And I think she actually lost to Kairi Sane, who went on to win it. So it was nice to see, and I feel like WWE are missing an opportunity by not doing this, because it's a very good opportunity to see who connects with the fans.
Yes.
So you don't have to necessarily have them under contract, but you can
No,
bring in a group of
it's true,
women that
actually.
you're interested in,
Mm-hmm.
put them in this tournament, do whatever you want to do with it.
People actually react to them.
See
and
how people
can they
react
get
to them.
over, and
Exactly.
that's a good idea actually. Yeah.
And
It's
they've
like
obviously
a
stopped it.
tombola.
Yeah, they've stopped it for a reason, obviously. But I don't know. I'd like to see this come back into the equation, because I think it's a good proving ground for a lot of talent. I really like both women's in-ring work, so I was really looking forward to this one. Really big fan of both. I'll be honest, Toni Storm I hadn't seen a lot of prior to the Mae Young Classic, but what she did in the Classic and her kind of grungy kind of look was just good.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot about was her face. Her overselling,
honestly,
sad face.
after I'd seen it twice, I wanted to hit her.
Well, I can't say that myself,
No,
but I get
it's
I get your sentiment and your
annoying.
feelings towards it. Yeah, it was a little bit much, but again, her in-ring work is great, so I'll try and bear that in mind.
This was one I actually was interested when it started. I was actually interested to watch it. Now knowing who these people are.
Yeah, because at the time you wouldn't have cared.
Nah, absolutely not. This would have been beer break.
Wow.
This would have been multiple beer breaks, I'll be honest.
Wow.
Because I didn't follow
it
that
closely.
much. Yeah. So whereas now I was interested to go, okay, well I actually know I've seen both of these people effectively grow, I guess. So it was interesting to see them back then. I
know what you mean, because you hadn't come back to work yet, so we weren't talking about wrestling, so I wouldn't have been encouraging you to watch this kind of stuff as well. I noticed that their gear was pretty much in line, wasn't it? They both had red and black.
I obviously noticed this, and I think, to me, that's so that neither one of them stands out over the other. Different styles.
I think it's coincidental.
But it's... Do you? Yeah. See, I thought it was intentional.
Entirely
because
coincidental.
It's red and black.
Because the only two coloured gear that I saw Toni wear before that was red and black and white and black.
Yes, I saw her in the white and black.
So I feel like hers was limited. I've seen EO a lot in red.
Okay.
So I think
it probably was coincidental, but to
it
me,
worked.
I was like, that's a nice touch, that, because one of you's not in like yellow and the other's not in black, so your eyes aren't drawn to one over the other.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Tiger Kid style, Tiger Mask style mask that Shirai comes out to the ring in back then? Do you not think it's a cool look?
It's alright.
Okay. Indifferent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it, leave it.
Because this was a big thing that she did in Japan.
Okay.
And you saw on her... Actually, no, I'm about to jump ahead to someone else who's later in the show. But her and... she is Io. Her and Kairi in the Japanese promotion used to both come out with versions of this mask on.
Okay.
Kairi never did it in WWE, but for this bit, obviously, Shirai was allowed to do it. I just thought it was kind of a nice little throwback. Because anytime
if you know the background, I suppose, it probably would hit a bit more, whereas I was just a bit okay.
Anytime I see something from outside WWE used in WWE,
It's
I go,
a little homage.
A homage fray, yeah, indeed. So I just quite like that. I said you don't often see a handshake to start.
No, but I like that.
Yep, very Ring of Honor. Because the whole theory behind Ring of Honor was you're supposed to start and end every match with a handshake for sportsmanship.
Yeah, why not?
I said it starts with some nice technical wrestling and Progress get a shout out. Don't know if you heard that, because Toni Storm was their first ever women's champion.
Oh.
So I heard that get shouted out. I think it was Michael Cole that shouted that particular little nugget out. So fair play to Michael. And when two workers can exchange holds and transitions well, I enjoy it. These two can. If you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, it looks awkward. But I'm not putting it on the same level, but when you would see like Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit exchange holds, and it works. And for women, again, it can work if you've got the right people doing it. Like Flair could do it.
Yes.
I think there are probably a few women that could do it, to be honest, but it was nice that it felt quite an indie match.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Which I don't mean that in a derogatory way in any
not at
way,
all.
shape or form.
I think also probably, like, it sounds silly, but like the lighting at this point helped that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, because that is effectively what it's like at an indie show. Yeah, no, I didn't even think about that. That's good. Nice contrast of styles. And then Io goes into a perfect handstand before driving the knees into Storm. That handstand was just
it was
flawless.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, in every way. I couldn't believe.
In my head, though, I did watch it and I go, she could hold this for ages. I assume she's going to force herself down here.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, no, really good. So how did you feel about because you quite like a clash of styles when they're of a similar stature.
Yes.
So we've got Toni Storm, who's not a high flyer.
No.
Io very much is,
Yep.
But they're not too different size-wise.
Actually, as soon as it started, I thought, oh, I might like this.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. We get a clothesline counter into a snap German suplex by Toni. Io spring... Right, okay.
I don't know if it's this. It must be this. This one, the landing on this looked a bit funky to me.
Are you thinking about on the apron bit?
I don't remember. I can't. My brain is not working.
Because there's a bit on the apron where she lands a bit weird.
Maybe it's then.
Okay. Feel free,
away.
As I'm going through, if you've got a note that needs to, please interrupt me. Otherwise, I'll just rattle through
Go
these.
for it.
So Io springboards to the top rope, knocking Storm down to the floor.
How do you feel? The quick jump ups.
She's very good at it.
I know, potentially other people can't necessarily do it, but to me, again, it makes sense. Rather than get out of the ring, walk up like you're walking up a ladder, then that's too much time. This is a nice touch.
And
Bang,
she's short
you're
as well.
Up, done.
But she almost always hits
nimble.
it perfectly. The only time I've seen her come close to messing it up in WWE was not long after she went onto the main roster, and you could tell she was in her head a bit because she messed up a couple spots, and I thought, if she does too many more of these, they're going to say she's not ready or not right for this anymore. And then a beautiful moonsault to the floor. How do you find her moonsaults when she does that kind of stuff? Because I know you like a Charlotte Flair job.
I do. I mean, I'll be honest, it's not going to beat that for me, but she's very, very close second, actually. She's nicely technical.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
And no concern for me.
No.
There's no fear.
Even when she does the old put herself in the trash can at War Games, at no point was I concerned. No. Which is says a lot about her abilities. Yeah. We then see back and forth exchange on the apron, which results in Storm hitting a nasty German suplex. So this was the weird
think that's
fall
probably the one
where
actually,
she threw her hands right up behind her like that. But I think it was purely just to protect everything here, which is what you'd want her to protect.
Absolutely.
But
it adds a bit more of a visual to it, because you're so used to everyone not necessarily doing the arms up, maybe outwards, but obviously you can't do that on an apron.
I think that's why she did it that way.
Yeah.
And then because for a moment she looks like she's completely out cold.
Yeah.
And then she falls to the floor. Then suddenly she back to holding her neck. Good sell job as well.
Yeah.
We get a stiff forearm exchange, which results in Storm connecting with a Storm Zero after a great clothesline.
I really like that move.
Yeah.
I really like it.
So it's
like
effectively
a pedigree.
It's a tiger driver.
Is that what that is?
That's what.
Because I just wrote down. I was like, it looks a bit like it starts like a pedigree, but then it gets flipped round, and I was like, yeah, I like that.
I think, or tiger driver is what it's commonly known as, but a Gibson driver as well. So do you remember Jamie Noble?
I know that name.
Cruiserweight, the kind of hillbilly.
If I googled him, I'm sure I'd go. Oh,
he's one of the not enforcers, one of the backstage guys that always comes out to try and break up fights and stuff. Little goatee.
I definitely would know his face.
That was the move that he used with Gibson driver as well. But
I really liked that. I did even stop and go, I really enjoyed that. It was nice.
But it only gets a 2.
Of course.
And then we start to see Io paying homage as the word of the day, as she connects with the 619 and a beautiful, beautiful springboard sunset flip. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Fully enjoyed that.
The camera angle from kind of underneath as well.
They did her well.
Because you kind of go, Jesus, she's thrown herself. But everything was pinpoint perfect on that. I said, it looked awesome.
Yeah.
Shirai then heads up to the top, but the moonsault sees her collide with Storm's knees. Looks brutal again. We've spoken about this before. I don't know how you land that without killing yourself.
Absolutely.
And then Storm Zero connects for a second time, and we see Toni Storm walk away as the second ever, and last ever actually, Mae Young Classic winner. I thought it was a very good match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
This is the best match we've seen.
That was the high peak in my strange looking W at the minute.
And then we kind of have a moment where the two women are hugged by Triple H and Stephanie fucking McMahon again, and Sarah Amato, who's a trainer. So Sarah,
I recognised her from, I've seen like not backstage stuff, but like the shows they do and
Where
Tough
they're
Enough
training,
and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, but to me it looks weird to see her dressed like that.
Yes, it does, because
like,
she was a very...
I had to double check because she's a bit of a tomboy to me.
Androgynous is the word I was going to say when she wrestles. And she, I believe, was trained by Bryan Danielson.
She was, I did Google it, yes.
Yeah. She went under the ring name Sarah Del Rey for a lot of it. She used to compete with the guys quite a lot as well.
Oh, okay.
She worked in Chikara for a long time. She worked in Shimmer for a long time. And she's a brilliant trainer.
Yeah.
Brilliant trainer. But I have a feeling she's not working there anymore.
Really?
I hope I'm wrong, because she is genuinely fantastic. So it's nice to kind of see her there. Yeah. I wouldn't have minded even if she was like given a role in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, just because that'd be great. But anyway,
either
way, it was a good match, and they kind of end with the trophy, the roses.
I liked it.
Felt very Japanese.
Okay.
They do that in Japanese wrestling
right.
a lot for the title, especially in women's wrestling. No, but we will get you learning this kind of stuff.
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy the matches, but you won't know what's going on with the characters.
I won't have an absolute clue.
But also you have to bear in mind, sometimes with other promotions, they're not as story-centric as WWE are, so it's just what's being put forward in ring.
Rather than,
exactly.
This has been going on for months now. It's just, these two people are fighting.
That's not to say there's no story, but it's not the same kind
Fair
of
enough.
tact that they take. And then we go for more talking heads. I said, nice to hear their stories, but after a while I lose interest.
I liked, before they jumped to the talking heads though, it was interesting to see the other women in the crowd clapping for that, women. And seeing Rhea Ripley still having that same character, looking completely different, obviously, because this was when she was blonde and had like a bit of a bob.
Yeah.
Pretty, but still the slow clap, the disinterested look, and I was like, very good. That's very clever.
Her big feud was Toni Storm. So they used to travel. They get on really well, as far as I understand it, but they both worked in the UK quite a lot.
Okay.
And I think they had a few matches in like Progress and stuff, and they're
both Aussie.
Both Aussie. And that's why, because they both came over very young, so they're kind of intertwined with each other.
Makes sense.
They also, I think, when they brought in the NXT UK Women's title, that was the feud for the title, which Ripley actually won. So Ripley was the first UK Women's Champion. But so it's nice, and that's why she was doing the slow, disinterested.
I thought it was interesting.
Saw Bianca Belair there too.
Yes, I did. She looked very bored also, but I don't think she was intentionally meant to look bored. She just camera caught her at the wrong.
She was.
Camera just seemed to catch her at the wrong time. Yeah.
Okay, and then so I did actually put a note on this talking head segment, other than the fact I was losing interest in it. It's what Alundra Blaze said.
I think I got a drink. I'll be honest.
And Fredo. We haven't had a Fredo match yet, have we?
No, I'd had a drink or two though.
That's fine.
Let's be clear.
That's fine. We're all adults. But Alundra Blaze, for as much credit as I was giving her earlier, says one of the dumbest things I think I heard on the night. She said, "We're going to break history." So that's not how it works. History is what it is. You can change the future, make history. You can't break history. No. History is what it is.
Oh, hang on. Let's go scrub that out from history and rewrite it.
Yeah, exactly. Bollocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move on now.
Yes.
So we move on to a 6-women tag match between the Riot Squad of Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan, taking on the Boss, Sasha Banks, Natalya and Bayley. Okay, so Riot Squad come out first, and I put, give me this Liv Morgan.
Yes.
This is the look.
Peak Liv
Primo
Morgan.
cut.
Brilliant. I liked it when she used to do her like character costumes.
Yes.
And she played on that part very well. I definitely preferred her here than obviously when I liked the Riot Squad together. I'll be honest. And then they disbanded them.
Yeah.
And obviously got rid of 2 of them. Kept Liv, and it was just a bit like, and they literally, you could see them every week go, what do you do with her?
Yeah. Well, they tried to do that thing where they turned her into, was it a lesbian who was with Lana?
With Lana, stupid.
Yeah, and this is when they gave her that kind of strappy outfit, which just didn't work for her.
To me, they tried to turn her into a bit of, like, outfit-wise, they turned her into, like, a wannabe Alexa Bliss, then a wannabe, like, not dominatrix, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
well, it's not far
effectively,
off.
Like, a Rhea Ripley outfit. Like, it would make sense look on her.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, just leave her be with the leggings, the braces and the crop tops. That was spot on.
I throw her in the same boat as Carmella.
Yeah.
They fucked up both of them in the same way in fairly short order. Yeah, I thought this look was great. It kind of, even when she like had, obviously she'd had a lollipop or something beforehand.
She used to do that, didn't she, before the
blue
matches?
Or red or something. I always thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
And to be fair to the other women in Riot Squad, again, this was probably their best looks for all
I
of them.
really liked them together, and the fact that they did it was like a Halloween theme.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because one of them was Jigsaw, and then I actually didn't know what Sarah Logan was meant to be.
She looks like something like Valhalla out of Vikings.
I just kind of, just glazed over it.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's just her.
Yeah,
to me, she is a Viking, isn't she?
Very much so. And then we get I put the Riot Squad as superseded by the international announcers.
Yeah, I knew you would.
It just annoys me whoever they do it for. To be fair.
Yeah, I know.
Do it to me. Just do it then. Do it when the Battle Royal
every
people are coming
time.
out. Just yes, or just don't put it on the show. But yeah, just something like that.
Yeah.
Banks's music is a banger.
Mm.
Very much like it. You might not necessarily like her, but the music is good.
Yep.
And then this is going to be a room splitter. Ooh. I genuinely got goosebumps when I heard Bailey's old music.
Oh no, I loved it.
And
I was happy that it was. I'd forgotten, obviously, because of what she's doing now, which I don't like.
Yep.
I liked hearing the old music, and I was like, "Oh, brilliant! This is when people actually liked her."
And this tells me that if and when she ever goes back to that music, there's going to be a pop for that.
As there should be.
Natalia, take those fucking cat ears
off. Oh, this was the cat ear era, wasn't it?
I hate it.
I know you do.
It gets me so angry. Oh, cool, you're a crazy cat lady.
I know.
But, like, you've got a man.
Yeah.
Like, because normally the crazy cat ladies are the ones that are single. Not being, stereotypical, but
oh, I know, because someone at work said to me the other day, do you like cats? And I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, of course. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well. And I was like, I know what you're implying here. Thank you.
That you're crazy.
I'm lonely.
I'm sure he'd keep
and a
you
little
company.
bit crazy.
So, after I commented on the stupid fucking cat ears, which is directly what I've written down, I put both teams have linked their outfits together. So we've got the
I actually
Halloween
quite liked the colours all linking on the other teams. I thought that was a nice touch as well, because otherwise you get a mishmash, and it's my OCD eyes don't like that.
And as well, if you're, let's say, watching the show with someone who's a wrestling fan and you're not, it's easier to identify who's on
what team, for sure.
Yeah, so I think it was like a purpley, bluey, blacky,
nice.
pinky kind of thing for the Bailey team, and then the Halloween theme, as you said earlier, for the Riot Squad.
We see Finn Balor looking exceptionally happy in the hugger section.
He'd just been given some goat feed, so he was quite
honestly,
content
it's
at Bockett's farm.
When he used to do that, like, the Bolt stand up straight with the big cheesy grin. So funny.
God almighty. Right, Liv Morgan spanks herself before faking out Natalia.
Yeah.
So the spanking, great. The fake out, better, where she then got in front of her.
Yeah, that again, great character. A little bit of a mind game. It's a bit in jest. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the spanking played into it, but it had my attention.
Yeah, I thought it might.
What are you saying? It's
Nothing.
not like, sorry, Randy Orton's thighs. All right, okay.
Oh.
No, not this show. We see an early heart attack on Liv as Sasha and Natty do a double team. That was their finisher, the heart attack. I think they even called it out, but appreciate you might not have heard that in the commentary.
No, it wouldn't have hit with me.
Then we got, Sarah Logan with a well-timed baseball slide cutting Bailey off, which was actually very good.
I liked that.
Well-timed, because normally you see that and there's too many variables that can cock up, but it was actually really well done. The timing of it was great. Bailey was kind of staying there staged for a while, like in pain. Good. Yep. Didn't have an issue with it. And then I've completely lost where I am in my notes, so I'm going to... Well, have you got yours?
I just made it... While you do that, let me go back to talking about their costumes.
Okay, yeah.
Bailey, when she was doing the hugger thing, was her gear in homage to Macho Man?
A little bit, yeah. The tassels off the...
Fringe.
Yeah.
Like a fringe.
They also did... She paid homage to Dusty Rhodes at one point as well, after he died, because he was there for the training of a lot of these people. But yeah, she was a big Macho Man fan, and we see that later on in the match when she hits the top rope elbow, which was Randy's finisher.
Okay.
So Bailey's now separated from her team as the Riot Squad start to take control. A lot of rapid tags from the Riot Squad where they're tagging in, immediately tagging out, doing something, going out.
Normally I don't really fully enjoy that, but actually I quite liked it with these guys because it works with them. This sounds so just pointless to say, but they work so well together because they were together like all the damn time. it's a nice touch to see, right, you're in, before you've even done that move, I'm tagging in. Bosh, you've done that, now I'm in. And it was like, oh, okay.
Well, you
Quick
could
fire.
see, I think, was it the Live documentary thing that we watched on the
Yeah, that
network?
was so interesting.
And they said about how they didn't know what to do when they were separated from the show,
Yeah.
because Liv was taken away and the other two were still together.
Which you
And-
could understand. It'd be
Oh,
like
yeah.
losing your left leg.
Absolutely, especially if you're spending day and night with these
Yeah.
people. And they mentioned on commentary, I think it was Michael Cole that said why Liv went with the name Liv. It's because at one point she said she didn't care if she lived or died,
Yeah.
and now she's very pro-life and wanted to put that in the name. I thought that's quite interesting. You don't normally explain why
No,
someone's
you don't.
been given a character name.
Yeah.
Because isn't her name something Daddy-O? It's a great name.
I can't remember, but I remember being
The
like,
surname's
oh,
Daddy-O for
yeah.
sure. So then Logan howls, because why not? And then charges at Bailey, who counters it, but Bailey still can't quite make the tag. But then Bailey does finally get the tag, and then it's boss time. And then
Yay.
Sasha starts cleaning house. Not in the domestic sense, you understand. We see a nice exchange between Riot and Banks, which is like they're countering each other's moves. Well timed, works. Backstabber into the Bailey to belly. So she hit the backstab. I think it was on. Actually, who was it on?
I can't remember. To me, I want to say it was Ruby, but I don't know. If
I think it
that's
was Ruby.
actually right. But I put a note before that saying she did a backstabber before this, and it didn't. She went down, and then, but it wasn't like a bounce. It was just like a, I don't know. They just looked heavy and laboured, and I was just like, and I'd already rolled my eyes by
That
this
wasn't
point.
into the setup to the Bailey to
No,
belly, was it?
no,
Okay.
that was just before.
I must have missed that note.
Because then I thought, ugh, I can see what's going to come here.
Yeah.
And then that, I was like, that's a nice touch.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep, worked.
So it was just a one-off, but I was just, because it was Sasha Banks, I can't help it.
Liv breaks up the pinfall. I think she shoves Sasha onto the pile to kind of separate that. Really, really ugly pop-up Meteora on Logan. So it's the one where Sasha, they drive the knees across the chest like Kofi kind of does the stomp, but with the knees.
Yeah, there was no knees. It was literally
I'm gonna
vag
fall
to
on
face and legs extended behind her.
Yeah, I think it's
a bit
because Logan didn't pop her up enough.
Yeah,
to
maybe.
be honest, I think it's probably more Sarah's
Yeah.
fault than it was Sasha's. Yeah, not pretty for damn sure.
Are we rolling up to the worst move, potentially for me, of the night?
Is this where Sasha runs out the ring, goes over the top,
Tries.
goes
Tries to go. I don't even know what rope she's trying to go over, top or middle. But it's like her brain doesn't know either. Just goes into both, hangs herself on the top rope, and Riot Squad literally but pull her down as if to make it look like she's done something.
Yeah, and
Awful.
the commentators didn't know what to make of that. The saving grace is the way that they then caught her and then threw
Absolutely
her
luzzed her
into the barricade. Was
that
very
was
nice.
fine.
But yeah, absolute dog shit leading up to that.
Yeah, I literally watched it and I was like, and here, people, is why we don't do these.
This would have been where you went to get the beer, I think. You would have seen that and gone, what is that? I'm getting a beer.
I'd have been angry by this point, so
That's what I mean.
you'd
but
have told me to go.
I would have told you to go. Don't make out
You'd
like
have
it's me
You'd
making
have been
these
like,
calls.
oi, calm down. Go and get
All right, take a
beer.
breather
Yeah.
while you're out there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Bailey covers Banks to protect her from a senton, which is just so dumb.
Of course it is.
Because you're now just adding more weight onto her getting hit.
Absolutely. You're
So-
adding another layer of bread to that sandwich.
Exactly, that
Stupid.
punch
Unless
sandwich
you're holding yourself
up.
in a plank over the top
So
of her.
exactly.
Absolutely.
And then what? Headbutt her on
Yeah,
the way down.
For sure.
Yeah, very stupid. It didn't work, obviously. Then Natalia comes in and cleans house, but the
Yeah.
double sharpshooter makes no sense. Looks shite. Don't do that.
But she's got to do it.
Doesn't have to.
'Cause,
Just
you
do
know,
one.
Does it all the time.
Because she's a heart.
Yeah.
Just do one. Don't do it on two because
But
it didn't
also,
work.
It doesn't. It just looks pointless.
I'm also glad, because the way they stacked them up, she body slammed Ruby wrong on top in the
Yeah.
first place, so she had to turn herself round.
Exactly.
Which why would you? I wouldn't go, oh sorry,
just
I'm
roll
lying on you.
off.
Yeah, exactly. Morons. But I'm glad we saw the front side of it rather than the leg side, because I know
Yeah.
I'd have been very angry if
Yeah,
I saw
of
the leg
course.
side of it. Morgan takes a power bomb, then an elbow drop, then a frog splash before Banks pins her. And then Bailey nearly dies as she suicide dives out the ring and nearly lands on her face.
Mm-hmm.
But that is enough to see Sasha Banks' team walk away with the pinfall win.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I've never thought Sasha Banks doing a frog splash was a good look. I know she likes Eddie Guerrero, fine, but you're £4.
No.
I feel like you could be fired out of a cannon land on me, and I don't believe.
True.
So the only saving grace in this series of moves is that it was the third of 3 moves, so I didn't mind it.
Right. Okay.
Had it been the only move that finished
it was shit, so you didn't mind because it was last.
Yeah. So I think they're
Fair
already
enough.
worn down from the other 2 moves that preceded it.
Yeah, fine.
So we move on from that match, and we get some more talking heads.
Yeah.
I put Stephanie McMahon starts it, so I genuinely stopped listening immediately. I have no more comments on this bit, so if there's anything important, I hope you made a note of it.
The only thing I noted was that Renee actually makes a fair point of saying, "Oh, this is going to make me sound again." This for any women that are listening. I'm not against women. Please just know this. But Renee makes a good point, and she says like a thank you, but she says like it's important. You know, we've got this women's pay-per-view, but also it's actually important to say thank you to the men that helped us get to this point. Yeah. Because ultimately, in a company like that, it is male run. Like, it is men heavy. So to get to a point where you could do an event like this, it's going to have support from men. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it wouldn't fucking happen. I liked that. I thought it was quite nice.
What's funny is I noted that as well. I didn't disagree with it, and I thought, I wonder who's made her say that.
Okay.
Do you think she did it off her own back? Because if she did, fair.
I don't know. I honestly, if that was me, that would be something I would think. Whether I would say it out loud or not on telly, I'm not sure. But it would be something I'd be thinking.
Well, out of the 3 of them, you look closest to Renee. So
I would take that. My God, I'd love to look like her.
Well, I look
Legs
the
up
most
to her
like Beth
elbows.
Phoenix. More like her than Michael Cole.
Oh my God.
That's an image for anyone out there.
Hilarious.
So from there, I'm assuming you didn't take any notes in that specific talking heads bit.
Absolutely not. I definitely was getting another drink, I'll be honest.
Yeah, understood. So we now move on to the NXT Women's Championship match, where Kairi Sane was defending her title against Shayna Baszler.
Do you know what I enjoyed most about the little preview they gave us of this?
What's that?
Nigel McGuinness's voice in the background.
Yeah, I did hear that as well.
It's nice, soothing tones.
But to be fair, if you look like, I don't know, Bill Oddie, I don't think you'd have the same nostalgic feelings towards it.
No, but he's got a lovely voice. I sat there and I was like, "Oh, he's a nice little voice, isn't it?" I'd missed him from my ears.
Yeah, no, he was good. I don't really know why he was gone from WWE, to be honest, but I digress. So the promo package just makes me think how much they dropped the ball on Shayna.
Honestly, so underutilised.
Mm-hmm. They gave her a little bit of a run at things when she went main roster, especially in the Elimination Chamber. I remember she was made out to be a beast. I think one Rumble they made her look good. Mm-hmm. The rest of because you've got a killer there in comparison with the rest of the field. Like in MMA, I think her win-loss record was about she won as many as she lost, but still, legitimate fighter over everyone else there. Mm-hmm. That speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I don't know, and the whole time I was just thinking, oh no, you really messed up here. I really like Kairi Sane, but bringing the title out in a treasure chest is overkill. Okay. I get that you're the pirate princess.
Yeah.
Again, the character's fine. It's the same kind of character she had in Japan, so it's not new. WWE haven't shilled this upon her. In fact, her tune that she used to come out to, the very start of it, was Pirates of the Caribbean, that then went into something else. Obviously, she can't do that over here. But she also had on her jacket, which was the thing I nearly attributed to EO earlier, on the long jacket, part-way down on either side, she had a mask sewn into the fabric. And it was similar to the ones that EO had on.
I wouldn't even have clocked that from me.
I wouldn't have expected you to. But I thought, again, it's a nice little touch, paying homage to where she came from. Complete contrast of styles, but the size difference isn't too bad. Kairi's very small, but Shayna's not exactly...
so slight.
She is, but Shayna's not built like Tamina or something like that. So
she's not. She's stocky.
She is, but height-wise, there's not as many inches in it as you expect. So my question here was, how did you feel about them going together? Because it could be one for me where it turned you either way.
I don't know. I watched... That's a lie. I do know. Yeah, it started and I did immediately think, this is pointless.
Pointless?
Because she's a wisp to me.
And not Will of the Wisp.
No. I mean, as the match started, I was like, actually, this is alright. But it's just that initial look of Shayna Baszler as an absolute beast. I didn't really know much about Kairi at this point, apart from she jumps from the top rope with her elbow. But
how she does that is it's amazing.
Pretty impressive. But I was very much so, oh, this will be quick. But then I watched them.
But that was the final of the first Mae Young Classic as well. So they also had a history. So as far as the scorecard goes going into this one, even if you look at Shayna and go, you should obviously be the favourite.
Yeah.
She's 2-0 down against Kairi. She's lost both times because Kairi took the title off her. Right. You saw her reverse the Karafuda clutch into the pin.
Yes.
That's how she got the title.
I like those things when they happen.
I think she just hit her with an elbow drop after injuring the ribs of Shayna in the match in the first Mae Young Classic. But again, from memory, both were very good. So again, I was excited about this. It felt different from the main roster stuff, so I was all for it. And it was nice seeing the NXT Women's title getting a bit of place of prestige. The only other person to be able to do something like this came along 2-3 years later down the line when Rhea Ripley started doing that with the title.
Have Ripley and Baszler ever had a match?
This is what I was going to say. That's a match waiting to happen. I think they did in NXT, though. I don't think it's been main roster. Okay. The issue now being is that they've kind of killed off the appeal of Shayna.
Ripley's far too next level now, to me anyway.
Ripley's on. It
was
like
making
Ripley,
no sense
Flair.
now.
Yeah, if Banks was still there, you'd put Banks there. You just would.
Would you?
You would. Yeah.
Annoyingly, yes. Obviously, you would.
Becky Lynch, you'd put up there, and then everyone else, even Belair, for me, is a level below.
It's odd.
So Shayna starts by playing Big Sister to Sane, putting her down on the floor. Sane? Who the fuck? I just listed the the German winger. Sane. Because it's spelt the same, but one's pronounced...
See my face glaze over and go, who are you talking about?
Because I said Sane, looked down, looked up, and you're like, what the fuck have you just said? So yeah, Sane, no Bundesliga players were involved in this match. So she put it down on her backside twice.
Yeah.
But then Kairi Sane got it right that time. Put Shayna down on her ass and kind of, here's a bit of a receipt.
I also, though, when this match started, I did remember it, and I remembered something that happens that we'll get to, and I remember going, ugh. I remember being annoyed at this.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
This is the only match it started. It focused on said people, and I went, yeah, I remember this now, because I remember them being really annoying.
The annoying thing is I can now never write Sane for my notes in shorthand form, because every time my brain wants to say Sane now.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Kairi, but I'm going to read it and hopefully I don't fall foul of it again.
Yeah.
Sane hits the sliding forearm. It's just regular words I can't do now. So fliding. So Sane hits the sliding forearm. So when we've got Shayna sat down with her back to the ropes, Sane takes a run, diving.
Yeah.
For me that works because even though she is slight, she uses the entirety of her frame to deliver a shot, and it's the same with the elbow drop that she does. She utilises what she has well, which Sasha Banks doesn't always. Because they must be of a similar stature, I would have thought.
Yeah,
so I don't
maybe.
I don't know if they've ever had a match. Well, they must have done, but anyway, one to think about for the future. Shayna tosses Kairi into the ring steps after blocking a second forearm. And then Shayna connects with a brutal knee to a kneeling Sane, and it looks like that catches her straight in the face.
Yeah, it does.
And again,
whether it does or not, I don't know, but it does look like it.
I can only assume not, because otherwise there'd be a lot of blood, I think, from that kind of impact. I've then again lost my place, but I found it immediately. So we've got the stamp to the elbow, which follows. How do you feel about that move in terms of how it looks? So when the woman's got their hand on the floor, and then Shayna stamps on the back of the elbow. It looks disgusting to me.
I don't know. I think too logically about it and go, that looks awful.
Well, you'd move your hand.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay.
Taking that out, but when the actual impact of the move itself.
I suppose it does. It gives the visual response that you're looking for.
Yep.
Whether it does anything or not, who knows? But
well, I think that's actually quite a dangerous one, because it's just one misstep. Because if your arm's actually trapped and goes the wrong way on that,
I suppose you could pop it out.
Yeah. So that for me, I think gives it bonus points. But you're right. If you look at it logically, you go, well, you can just move your arm out of the way. Then they start trading strikes, and I think Michael Cole mentions it. Said, "Well, I wouldn't do that with Shayna Baszler."
Yeah.
And no, you shouldn't. Thanks. But Sane actually ends up winning it when she hits a very soft spinning back fist that was just a little bit misjudged. But it drops Shayna to a knee.
Of course.
And then we get the Akari submission attempt. So it's
is
the one
that the
cross-legged
nice thigh stretch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, it's a move that she used in Japan a lot, but effectively, yeah, it's one of her submission holds. She didn't really often use it in WWE now that I think about it. But it's countered by Baszler, who then starts working back over on the arm again. Then we've got Saint explodes out of the corner with a spear. What do you think about her spear?
This is really hard because I just don't believe that. I feel like I'm going to say it, and I don't fully believe it, but I just feel like it's going to feel like someone's just like poking you. She's so slight. I know she manages to get all this power behind her, which does make her more appealing than watching other people that are of the same build, but it just doesn't. For me, I watch it and I go, okay. So
as much as I complimented her saying that she knows how to use her body at full impact, like with the forearm and the elbow, I don't like her spear.
No.
Because it doesn't deliver the same looking impacts as the other two moves do. Then she follows it up with the second one in the corner, which is much of a nothing to me. We see her hit a running. What's a running? That's my middle name, isn't it? Running blockbuster neck breaker. Do you know what that is?
No.
So I think Shayna slightly bends down.
Yeah.
Kairi jumps over the top as if she looks like she's suplexing herself, but she flips over her and grabs her neck on the way down. So she flips over, grabs the head. Yeah, okay. Blockbuster. Then Baszler hangs Sane with a short arm scissors, which looks very, very good.
I very much so enjoyed that.
Yep, because that looks just brutal. You can just, as you know, you said, was it Tamina got hit in the face and you start?
Yes.
I didn't do that, but for this, I started to feel the tricep.
Bone.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I thought that was. I don't know. Like you look at that and you think, yeah, makes sense. It's a vicious, brutal move that works for her character for me.
Very much so. And like I said, Sane's light enough that you can get away with doing that.
You can ragdoll her around, and it's probably not going to expel too much energy.
Her around, for sure.
Give over.
Give over. Yeah, that's one of the moves for sure. Suplex by Shayna is countered into a spike DDT. Look good. Sane then takes flight with a crossbody to the floor.
Yes.
Again, fine, even though she's slight, because it's coming from such a height.
Fine. I agree.
Kairi then dumps Shayna into the NXT women ringside, and I think I saw Bianca Belair get a straight boot to the face, which she wasn't expecting.
Yes, I don't think she was expecting much. She didn't pay much attention.
No, this is true. Kind of on her own fault then.
I did get distracted at this point though, because not here, but it was a little bit before actually, and it happened again later. These people aren't involved in this match whatsoever, but the way the camera's facing, there was two men in the crowd. One was wearing like a green t-shirt or something, and the other was wearing blue. Both had hats on, and they kept continuously looking at each other, doing like knowing nods. And then later on, these buggers appear again in my eyesight, checking their time. And once I clocked them once, I couldn't stop looking at them.
It took you out
Their
the match.
reactions were just hilarious.
Brilliant. So this is where we kind of really see Jessamine Duke and Maria Shafira, I think her name is. Well, they can fuck off.
They did very quickly.
Well, quite. So after Shayna gets dumped into them, she comes back out, and then Jessamine Duke, aka the malnourished llama, reaches over and grabs Kairi's hair, pulls her, and then it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I think she turns around and gets hit. They both then get involved. Maria Shafira is standing on the outside. I think she then throws a kick, or was it Jessamine Duke maybe throws a kick? Hits Kairi in the face. Kairi stumbles back into the Karafuda clutch. Yeah. She struggles for ages, but then it's just too much.
Of course.
She has to pass out. Yeah. She lost, and then we see
I would
Shane.
rather, though, she did do this whole pass out thing rather than I'm asleep, I'm awake. I'd rather, if you're going to do it, just do that.
Especially when they say it out loud. Do they not know the camera's on them? I'm asleep, I'm awake. That's magic. So we see Shayna Baszler walk away as the two-time NXT champion.
And the reaction from the crowd made perfect sense and played into her character perfectly.
Yeah, because... Yeah. And I think the match was good.
Shayna to me that got booed. It's those other two.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the malnourished llama and Maria Sharapova or whatever her name was.
And nothing really came of them, did they? They tried to push them as being like...
Because they're not wrestlers.
In NXT, right? They were, and they were like, oh, we also do a bit of MMA too, and let's be wrestlers too. But you're shit.
But that was that basically all four of them were fans of wrestling, so they were the four horsewomen in MMA.
Absolutely
we had the four horsewomen of wrestling, then we had the four horsewomen of MMA being in the WWE, which they never capitalised on.
No.
Imagine if Maria and that llama were good. Because then you could have a
A
War
4 on
Games.
4. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine if they were good.
Well, they weren't. And
No,
that's why
no,
they were
fucking
gotten rid
weren't.
of.
And they had no charisma whatsoever.
Oh.
And if you're, I'm sorry, if you're going to be on this sort of, wrestling platform, you've got to have
If you're
something
gonna look-
about you.
if
If
you're
you're
going to
going to
look
be
shit...
a shit wrestler, at least have good, charisma.
I was going to say, if you're going to look shit, don't be shit, for
No.
fuck's sake. Bring something to the
That
table,
is
Christ.
the training motto. Don't be shit.
But honestly, I get... specifically with Jessamine Duke, I get angry when I see her, and I don't know why, I don't know her. Don't know the woman, but I get angry.
Yeah.
Her face annoys me.
Yeah, her face annoys me.
Bless her. Hope you're well if you're listening, which you're not. So fuck you. Right, so we move on to the next bit,
Oh
which
my God.
again, more talking heads. I'm not writing any of this.
I didn't write anything apart from when we start to get to the little preview of the whole Becky thing.
Spoiler alert, but
Sorry,
we're moving
sorry.
on. We're moving on to the co-main event
So
now,
sorry.
people.
It's because I write it and then the actual match starts. So I've got like a little preview, then it's the match. Sorry, my bad.
No, that's fine. You do. It's
Behind
as
the
much
curtain.
your show as it is mine, so do not
No.
feel you need to apologise. So we got Becky Lynch against Charlotte Flair for the
Yeah.
SmackDown Women's title in
Yeah.
a last woman standing match. My first thought of this, because I knew the only match yet we hadn't seen, I was
Yes.
like, why was this not the main event?
This should have been last.
Yeah.
100% should have been last. Even I'm saying that
Yeah.
as someone, as a big ass fangirl of Nikki Bella. This should have been last and would have made sense to be last. I don't understand.
The
But
reason
it's
there
because
wasn't
of
because
fucking
Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
It is.
Fuck off. She
Well-
pisses me off and all.
One of my mates confused me with this because I told him what the next show we were doing
Yeah.
was, and he said, "Oh, that's the one with Honda in." And I said Honda, and I thought he was being borderline racist about a Japanese worker, and I had to ask him, "So what do you mean?" And he said, "Honda aroused me," and I went, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Jesus.
And he went Ronda Rousey. I went, "Oh Jesus!" I went, "That was way too subtle for me,
Yeah.
right over my head." But that was that was an interesting conversation I had recently, so I'm sure he was
okay.
excited about this. But yeah, so again, the first ever last woman standing match. I actually thought there'd been one before this, but apparently not.
Yeah. What's the difference between... This is stupid, and I know it is. It's not going to be as stupid as my free pin you win twice thing, but...
The whole podcast name.
Yes.
Yeah.
But last woman standing, is that not the same as an Iron Man?
No.
What is the difference?
Iron Man is most number of falls in a set
Oh,
time.
okay. And this is just you've got to stand up by 10.
Mhm.
Brilliant. Which is like watching fucking Bambi on ice every single time.
Well, especially the ending as well, now that I think about it. But even the commentators got confused about this. I think Michael Cole,
Yeah.
3/4 in, called it a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah, I was honestly
You know what that
all
one
over
is,
the
yeah?
gaff. That I do know.
Okay, fine.
You can get them on the floor anywhere you like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that
For
sounds
the
a little
pin,
bit more
for the pin.
salty than
No.
Right.
Anyway.
I'd forgotten how big Flair's fun bags were. No wonder they
were
popped.
Massive. Massive. But this is, I've said it before because we've watched one of her matches when she did this before. Favourite entrance.
Oh, with
I
the
like the flip
handstand.
into the box splits, the cheeky wink into the...
She looked like she nearly split her box, I'll give you that.
I mean, yes, she did. But this is my favourite entrance of
The
hers
wink.
by far.
And then it ends with very much something I dislike about her. Her eyelashes hanging halfway off her face. But we're jumping ahead of ourselves again, as we want to do
yeah.
on this show. Becky cheered in spite of being the clear heel.
I was very confused by this.
This was just before I'm the man phase.
Oh,
So this was the groundswell of support that took her to
I
that point.
see. Because also in like in the promo package as well, there were a couple of clips where she was a little bit booed, but not a lot. But then there was a bit where she did a thing with Edge, and I was like, "That's very funny."
But
very funny.
that booed would have been piped.
Oh, for sure. Not
Not what actually happened in
No.
person.
But she says to Edge, "Careful you don't hurt your neck again going through the ropes on your way out." And I was like, it's very clever. It's very
Yeah.
funny.
And you've got a
Pleases
big
me.
thing about necks as well, and Edge.
I do.
So-
And actually, he looked all right here. He looked all right in that little
This
promo.
was before we went to
so-
the gaunt phase.
Yes.
Yep. I put a solid look and gear for both women.
Yeah.
Flair's got that weird hair thing that I don't particularly care for, but it does kind of, for the most part in this match, keep it out the way of harm's action. So
Yeah.
I get it. If you've got long hair, you wouldn't want it all over the gaff.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to come back because I've written another note here about Last Woman Standing.
Yeah.
So, an I Quit match.
Yeah.
What's that?
What does it sound like to you?
Well, to me, it's like a tap out. Okay, cool, thank you. I just get so confused. There's too many
Well,
different
technically
realms
there's a
of...
submission only match. So an I quit is usually where you verbally have to say I quit.
Okay. Have we watched any of them? Wasn't there a...
Well, I mean, in general,
Yeah.
I have. Yes.
I don't think I must not have done them.
I've seen some awful ones.
Okay.
It's like, oh yeah, no, you have.
Have I? Oh, I didn't like it. I can tell by your face.
Because it was Edge and Judgment Day. Was it at Royal Rumble? Where they then made Edge say I quit because they had Beth Phoenix lying down.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I do remember. Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
trying to think if there are any others.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Okay.
And yeah, we didn't like that.
Thank you. Sorry to digress.
No, that's fine. That's again, it's very fluid,
I
this
get
whole
confused.
structure. So the match starts very quick. They're doing exchanges and counters and close calls, and
Yep.
it works. The two know each other well enough
They do.
that it kind of flows.
Yep.
So we see an early kip up from Charlotte to
Yep.
demonstrate her athleticism.
Absolutely.
I think she does a bit of a flare strut around this time.
Yeah, she does actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we see a little bit later on, Becky mocks the flare strut
Yeah.
in the worst parody of the night outside of Nia and Tamina both pretending to be wrestlers.
Yeah, it wasn't done very well. Well, I know the point was not to do it well, but you know, you kind of have to look and go, is that what she's saying?
Yeah.
She's not actually just having some form of episode.
I wasn't sure if she was either doing that or being a choo-choo.
Oh my
I
God,
wasn't
that's
entirely sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then we see a Beck Exploder which sends Flair into the corner. But then she's swiftly caught. It's been a long day for me because I'm messing up a lot of words here now. Swiftly caught with a big boot. Flair's then thrown to the outside where Becky begins unloading with a kendo stick.
Yes.
And Charlotte genuinely looks terrified when it comes out.
Yeah, she does.
And the noises she's making as she's getting hit, it's either because it genuinely sucks, which it probably does, or she's a very good actor. Very good actor.
Yeah. I liked, I'm going to come away from the moves and go back to their outfits.
Go for it.
Both in gold.
Yes.
And I thought, again, to me, I know maybe it's coincidence again, but one of them, so Charlotte was in like gold and like a light bluey silver.
Yep.
And Lynch was in gold and black.
/ brown.
Yeah, kind of like more dull. And I was
Yeah.
like, I quite like this. Like, it's kind of, the base colour's there, but it doesn't really represent who's a heel and who's a face. But I just liked it was similar, but not.
I didn't like Becky's eye makeup.
There's not much of Becky's outfits sometimes that you do like, to be fair.
Well, no, she's just odd. Like I said, the steampunk kind of look was her
Yes.
best one, and this one's still just on the right side of it. And then she got, when it went to big time Beck's, one, her hair was a state, and her outfits were all kind of mad, and with her arse out.
Yeah.
And it just
No?
no, not for me.
Okay.
I prefer steampunk Lynch. Bring back
enough.
that every day. Are we good with the outfits, or
Yeah,
is
I'd
there
just
anything?
like to mention
Yeah.
them.
No.
When I think they're notable, I'll put them in there.
Yeah, fair enough. We then start seeing on opposite side of the ring, both women
this
start
is
pulling out chairs,
Fucking stupid.
throwing the chairs into the ring.
And Charlotte almost throws one so hard it goes literally almost all the way over the top. Which actually would have been more amusing than throwing them all into the ring.
And word of the day, again, it felt like they were paying homage to the late great Terry Funk. Who obviously wasn't dead at this time, but him throwing chairs around was just such a big thing from back in the day. We even saw a little bit of it in ECW One Night Stand where he just throws the chair arbitrarily up in the air. So that's what my brain thought
Do you
of.
think that's what that was? Or
The
just...
crowd started chanting ECW as well.
Okay, well, yeah.
I think it was they
makes
just
sense.
used it as a moment in the match. I don't think
You don't think anyone's
necessarily-
actually thought, let's do that to do that. It's just convenient.
It just worked for the match, but that's what it made me think of,
Yeah.
whether surreptitiously
Yeah.
or otherwise. We then see Flair grabs a table, but Lynch cuts her off pretty much right away. And then Becky gets hit with her own I said exploder, but it's a Beck exploder because it's hers.
Yeah, of course.
And then chair shots to the back and midsection of Flair. Flair
Fine.
selling's very good on the night.
And I've put that I don't mind her selling because it's more noise than movement. Like like if she gets hit on the back, she tends to kind of squeeze her shoulder blades together and just make a noise rather
'cause you
than
probably
writhe
would.
around on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like when you stub your toe. You literally
Tense.
freeze,
Yeah.
tense up and scream or whatever. And I'm like, this is believable to me because that's probably what you'd do.
Did I tell you about the time I broke my toes?
Oh, God.
Walking into... so, round when I was still living back home with my mum, we had an airing cupboard, and that door was open fractionally, but if you looked at it at a glance at your peripherals, you wouldn't necessarily notice it was open. And it's opposite the dog's bed. So that basically takes up the whole landing.
Yes, of course.
So I have to kind of always strive to get over it. So I was trying to navigate to get my way past this, and I heard it before I felt it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And just my 2 small toes on my left foot just hit the door that was open, dead on, and I heard crack.
Oh.
And I was like, what the hell's that? Then suddenly it felt like
You like
had
get hot.
Yeah, hot. Exactly what it was. I dropped to the floor, frozen solid, and I remember thinking, because my mum would obviously heard me hit the floor, and I was thinking, because she gets into a thing, if I don't articulate a response in the exact way she wants me to, it then immediately turns into an argument.
Okay.
So she said, "Are you okay?" And I had to be dead quiet while I was like just holding on to my foot as if it was going to fall off. Yeah. Because I didn't want to irrationally lash out. And then she asked me again, and it sounded like a parody, but the way in which I must have done it must have confused her so much she just knew to leave it, because I said, "Very sorry, Mother, can't talk right now, just cracked my toes, I'm holding on, be with you later." Like that, like a serial killer. Because I was like, "Don't scream."
That's very much American Psycho response.
Exactly, don't swear. And she said, "Oh, okay." And went off.
Her
And I
so
was on the
much that
floor
she
for
just
5
left.
minutes just holding on to my toes, and that wrecked.
Yeah.
So, yes, in terms of how you would clench up, that's exactly what I did. You didn't ask, I appreciate that, but I thought...
No,
good
it's fine.
as
I was
any.
trying to think if I had anything similar, but all of mine have been different injuries, so no. So that was interesting to know.
Well, yeah, it's a bit different. You nearly paralysed yourself.
Yes.
I broke a little toe walking in my own house.
I was thinking, even when I got punched in the face and I got my black eye, I thought
That's a
wasn't
story
even
that
the
hasn't been
same
shared.
sort of. Yeah, no. We'll wait for a nice segue into that one.
Has anyone got a black eye in this? They haven't really. I will
No,
have to save that for
we'll
a
have
later
to wait
date.
for a pay-per-view when someone has.
That
But I thought
story
even
still
then
annoys me.
that response, my body didn't respond in that way, so it's quite interesting.
No, okay. Well, yeah, stories to look forward to for another day. Then the crowd start chanting, "You deserve it," after the chair shot, which I thought... So they're obviously not a fan of Charlotte Flair.
I wish people were.
Especially when she's trying to be the face as well.
Yeah.
I just think it's because the groundswell of support for Becky was so over the top. She was going to drown out anything else that was going on. Charlotte is then just tossed into the massive chairs that's kind of accrued in the centre of the ring. Again, must be very difficult to land on that, all moving parts with different edges and facing up and down.
Exactly.
A Bexploder, which she goes to then drop Charlotte into the same mass, is countered into a back suplex that looks really nasty because Lynch kind of lands high on her neck. I think it was perfectly safe because she landed on enough of her shoulders, but I think she'd over-rotated, or Charlotte had over-rotated her slightly too much.
Yeah.
Again, and I thought, wonder what Holly thought of that.
Yeah, I always do tense up a little bit, but I was 4 Prosecco's deep by this point, so I was lax. Yeah, honestly, these, not full, like, I don't pour myself a full glass, so they're like 4 half glasses.
Yeah, I'm not here to judge.
But I didn't eat a Freddo, so we're...
You haven't eaten a Freddo?
No.
Even though you had it ready to go?
Yeah, I had them ready to go, but I didn't.
Because I thought you were stopping as well, but you watched it through, and was it one go?
I had a little pause, and I thought, now is the sensible time to go to bed. And then I got ready for bed, and I was like, oh, why do I wait? Let's just crack on. So I ploughed through and did the whole thing.
Cleaning my teeth wakes me up.
Yeah.
Annoying.
So I try and do them at like an hour before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Just don't consume anything.
Yeah, but then
Top
I forget.
tip.
Sorry?
Top tip.
I thought you said top tits. I was like, okay.
No, I don't have those.
So it's like the way I'm sitting or something.
Yep.
So Becky hits a rope-assisted high kick. I didn't know what to call that. It's where she has
the second rope.
Yeah,
turns
it's
around
bottom
and does
rope,
like
isn't
a
it?
kick. Yeah.
No, you're thinking of Bella one later on. No, so she holds the top rope, jumps onto the bottom rope, and then just side kicks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I've noted it down, but in my head, when I replay it, all I can see in my head is Nikki Bella's one that she does that I like.
Well, it's better than this, to be fair. But she, kicks Flair, and then a table is put in the ring shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
A manhandle slam drives Flair again into the pile of chairs. They're getting their money's worth out of these chairs, so that's the third time that it's featured. And the ref reaches a count of 8, which is the first time. I know he'd counted beforehand, but this was the first time where you start thinking, oh, they're now going to start drawing it out to closer to 10.
Yes.
That was the particular move for me that
Again,
signalled.
To me, also, this turns into a bit of a I'm asleep, I'm awake, because it gets to 8 and no one's moved. There's one bit in particular which is coming, and there's no movement whatsoever. Then all of a sudden you've got 2 seconds to stand up. I think if every time I got off the sofa someone counted to 10, I would struggle to get up by 10. But I'm not leaving it till count 8 to try.
I've got a theory on that.
Okay.
So my theory is, and I can't use it and can't compare it to a boxing analogy, but I guess the psychology behind it is, if you've got 10 seconds, even if you're absolutely fine, why not take those, especially in that match, because in theory, if your opponent doesn't think you're going to get up, they're going to leave you. Yeah. So get that extra 7 seconds, 6 seconds of break before you have to get up. I
understand the logic, but like, at least be on your knees trying to get up by 6, because there's so many times when they're both lying like face down by 8, and then it's like again, Bambi on ice or freshly born giraffe trying to get up for 10.
Or malnourished llama.
Yeah.
Even.
And this is where my attention starts to go, that's stupid.
Yeah, for me this isn't a match specifically for you, because I could see there's too many things that you get frustrated at.
Things in here
because
that wound me up.
Tend not to like anything when weapons start getting involved, unless it's like a Hardys match with the Dudleys and stuff. Your interest when weapons are involved go out the door very quickly.
It does when they don't, to me, add anything to this match. I don't think this match needed it. I don't mind it, like the kendo stick was quite amusing. The chairs I thought were pointless.
Kendo shot is the one thing I'd take out.
Is it?
Didn't need it.
But again, the table is fine actually, I don't mind that. The chairs to me were a bit pointless.
No, I was genuinely fine with all of it apart from the kendo stick. I thought you didn't need that.
Okay. I think I liked it because in my head I see it and I go, oh, sometimes I'd like one of them to just...
Kinky.
When I get annoyed, could you imagine if it was just okay to whack out a kendo stick and just absolutely pelt someone with one?
Yeah, I mean it's illegal, but yeah, I guess.
Sorry.
You just want to punish people around you.
Unhinged.
Well, when Tom asked you if you were crazy, he might have... Oh no, he didn't. He said you like cats. No. He didn't ask if you were crazy.
No, that was another day.
So now we have Lynch on the table.
Yeah.
Flair hits a moonsault, but the table will not break. Wood wins out.
And do you think the table was too close to the corner at this point?
Yeah.
Because to me, I saw it and I was like, she's just going to overshoot it massively.
She didn't really overshoot
it. She didn't, but the impact to me was from her chest and her head,
which is the curling bit rather than the impact.
But her legs like slammed down onto the floor, and I was like, the table's just a bit too close.
Because Cole tried to make up for it by saying, "Oh, I don't think she hit it perfectly." I think she hit it as well as she was going to hit it. It's just like you said, the positioning of the table wasn't right.
Yeah.
And they're obviously not happy with the end result, so Flair instead does a senton bomb off the top, which does go through the table because she lands it well.
Absolutely.
Normally I don't like it when they go, right, we need to revisit this, but in this instance actually I didn't mind it. If it had not broken again, I think I'd have laughed. I think the crowd would have laughed as well, actually.
I put a note here and I wish I could review the footage as to where I've put this note, because it must be when they're both standing up trying to get to 10, because all I've put is they walk like I do after I've had a couple of baby Guinness, and it must just be them staggering round to their feet. It must just be.
I'd have said tequila was more your weak spot if I'm being perfectly
I wouldn't remember
honest.
that. At least I remember it when it's baby Guinness. But I'm going to have to start time-stamping some of these where I've put these stupid comments.
Or at least what's going on at the time. Because if you said it was like 1 hour 49, I'd be like, yeah, that's great. I don't know what happened then.
No, I think they must have just been stumbling to their feet.
Actually, I tell a lie. You know how I said I was okay with all the weapons? There was another weapon I wasn't okay with.
Ladder?
Yeah, what's the point?
Not needed.
You're not reaching anything.
It's not needed.
All the other ones, I think I prefer the kendo stick over the ladder. Mm-hmm. That's how logically it just doesn't make sense.
It didn't make any sense, and actually it didn't add anything here apart from get in the way for me.
It took away certain part in the match later on. Really took away from it. But again, let's not jump the shark on this. Let's go in the order that God intended.
Yes, let's.
So Flair grabs the ladder, but it's tackled. Somehow the ladder balances perfectly in the ring.
Yeah.
And I get why she did it, but Lynch broke character and went, oh, this is going to fall on Charlotte, and ran over and shoved it.
Yeah.
Charlotte was aware enough to move out of the way, and even if it was falling, should have had time to, because she was looking at the ladder. But so it's a little bit of a shame that she had to break character to do it. And then Becky body slams Flair onto the ladder.
Yeah.
That has to suck.
Oh, it has to.
Because I'd rather be slammed onto the chairs than the ladder.
Yes.
I don't know how
Yes.
I'd brace for the ladder.
Oh, I don't know how you...
Because at least it's a flat surface with a chair
and
for
there's
the
not
most
bits
part.
missing.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's no good way of doing it. I've seen it in a lot of matches, and they're things I wince at.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte looks to use the ladder in a figure eight, but it's wrong. It's just so wrong. She can't, because the ladder's there, she can't work out what she needs to do to implement it.
And you can see her doing that at the same... Like, you can effectively hear the cogs turning of her going, I would do this.
Without a doubt.
But I don't have enough traction to do that. What do I do? Let's just try it and see what happens. Just don't try it.
But the
just
ladder
take the ladder
doesn't
off.
work on the hold in general anyway. Because
what does it add to it apart from get in the way?
It's a visual. They're going for a visual addition. And they wait too long to do it, but then Flair goes, right, this isn't going to work. I'm just going to start kicking the knee on the ladder. Fine, but you should have done that
just
earlier.
Do that to start with.
And obviously while she's doing that, she's still trying to think, right, how do I put this on properly? She goes straight back to the well and said it works fine the second time. If that had been the first time, I might not have even said anything other than the fact of I don't see how this move makes it worse or how the ladder makes it worse. And then Becky taps. Obviously it's not a submission match, it's last woman standing.
It's not an I Quit match.
It's definitely not an I Quit match. And Michael Cole brings it up in commentary. I think he says, like, you can tap out all you like, it doesn't make a difference. You basically have to stay in the hold until you pass out and then go to 10. She eventually breaks free with a chair in the end, which I thought was quite good.
Yes, that was actually, that was good.
Worked, because it was like, what do I grab? Grab
and
that,
you would.
bang. Yeah, you would, absolutely. On the floor, again, Charlotte, but I expect this with a last person standing match. I said last person there, because women, men, all the same, all apply. They're always going to go all over the place. You never see one where it just stays in the ring.
Of course.
That would be interesting, actually. Imagine if they had a match which had like a stipulation to it, which they never then...
You have to stay in the ring.
Well, not even... No, well, you have to stay in the ring, but let's say... I can't think... This is really the only... Or a Falls Count Anywhere match, where at no point does it leave the ring. Because you could still finish it in the ring. I mean, and then people would say, oh, why'd you have that stipulation? But I think if you did it occasionally where they never left the ring, go, well, it doesn't have to leave the ring. Yeah. So people aren't expecting, oh, well, it's not going to end now because they haven't done this, this, and this. Just something to think about there. So back on the floor, Charlotte is thrown into the ring steps and then the ring post for good measure. Mm-hmm. Becky grabs the title and thinks, no, I'm done. Yeah. I'm taking it. Going home. Later. Goes to leave, but Charlotte eventually runs out and catches her up, and they start... Well, Charlotte specifically starts lighting her up like a Christmas tree with about 200 knife-edge chops, give or take. And then I put... I've misread what I've written here, because I put... And Flair tears, I'm assuming, but I read it as tears, because I'm thinking Flair's always crying with a tear in his eye. Becky and Flair, and Flair tears up our German boys announce table. Yeah,
I put my friends in the German table.
I feel a connection with these lads.
Yeah.
I've heard from them twice in the evening, I just hope they're okay. So then what happens is Flair's eventually set up on the German announce table, and this is where the ladder comes into play.
Yes, and what happened wasn't what I thought would happen.
Okay. Explain.
I didn't think that it would end up with... so Becky goes up the ladder, doesn't she? And she does the leg drop.
Yep.
I was hoping for a moonsault from Flair off the ladder, but then I thought actually the trajectory of how you push off a ladder, that would not happen. But in my head,
you'd have to kind of fall backwards.
Exactly. There's no jump. We've all seen Jeff Hardy do it forwards, and that alone is horrendous. So to push off backwards, it wouldn't happen.
If anyone could do it.
Exactly. But we hadn't seen her do one up to this point, and I thought, where is it?
But you also missed the vital rule of whoever sets up the table goes through the table.
Of course.
And it was Charlotte that cleared the table in the first place, and she went through it. So Lynch ascends the ladder, hits the flying double leg drop, because it's not really a single leg, she just arses her through it.
Yeah.
And fortunately, this table does break at the first time of asking. Mm-hmm. Flair goes through the announce desk, and then Charlotte just beats the count, and then Lynch jumps her immediately, starts just pouring on rights and lefts, and then grabs all the chairs she can find, including Renee's, and throws it on Charlotte and bundles her under there. And this is the one that annoyed you, wasn't it?
This is stupid.
Right. So, as you say, no movement. The ref gets to 8, Suddenly,
Oh my god.
Flair emerges like a monster from the deep
Yep.
at 9, looking fucking atrocious.
Oh
if
yeah,
I do
she
say
did.
so
I mean, I
myself.
would too if someone had buried me under it. But also, no, I can't.
And
I
this
can't
is-
do it. I can't.
This is an exact. You know when you said you think Charlotte Flair's pretty, and
Yeah, I do.
I've not got any. I can't. It's just not my taste. This is what I see. It's this type of stuff.
Okay.
When someone says this to me, and I go, nope,
Yeah.
because all I see is her dad.
Yeah, no, I get that. They do look fairly similar.
So she gets up at 9, then goes crazy with a kendo stick herself, and you see the look of oh shit on Becky Lynch's face, which is a nice little touch. We see a big spear from Charlotte on the floor. What do you think of Charlotte's spear?
I like it.
Better than Kairi Sane's?
I will happily back her doing
Yep.
spears because to me she's got the physical body strength for it to be believable.
Do you know who should have done it? Can't believe I'm going to say this. Tamina.
Okay, it's too late now.
Yeah.
She's
How little we
hung up
knew
her
that.
wrestling boots.
I suggested that we do a highlight reel, highlight reel short of her career, and
Okay,
it's just her coming out to Tamina, one splash at the end,
Really?
and then just a fin.
you're so mean to her.
I ran it by the editor. He might
Oh,
be doing something like
God.
that. Probably not, but I thought it'd be worth a shout to credit the career of
Yeah, go for it.
the fella known as Tamina. So Flair then gets powerbombed from the top rope all
Sorry.
the way to the floor.
Oh yeah,
through a
sorry,
table.
you'd lost me. I'd still been laughing at the lad. Demeanor.
I said that about like 30
Sorry,
minutes ago.
I know it still tickles me.
So basically, obviously,
Yes.
it's entirely predicated on how Charlotte falls,
Yep.
because Becky's just holding onto her legs and then still holds onto her legs as Charlotte throws
Mhm.
herself off. But it worked, and again, Charlotte did that sell and that's a perfect way, because I always liked it and I couldn't work out why. It's because of the tensing,
Yes.
because you tense to think, how bad's this pain going to be? And she's just lying there on the floor, and then we see a little bit of the Bambi on ice, newly born giraffe. She gets up to 8, she's on one hand.
Yeah.
I think we saw this with Nakamura as well, against Seth Rollins in one of the recent pay-per-views. And they do the same way. It looks like they're going to get up, but they just
And then they
can't
they stumble.
do it.
No.
And Becky Lynch, with that, retains her title in the first ever last woman standing match.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on the match?
I did enjoy it, but I don't know, I just think some of the equipment wasn't necessary, and I like those two anyway. I've seen them do other matches that were fine. I didn't hate it, didn't love it, but also after a bit of googling, this was the start of when Flair reported to feel not herself. And
Okay.
it turns out this was the start, not necessarily this match, but this year was when she found out her implants had started to leak. So she'd
Wow.
started suffering from silicone poisoning at this point.
Well, the interesting thing is that that was the first comment I said, because they looked abnormally big
Yeah.
and interesting. So, and you said,
I mean, I'm trusting Google here. It could be
was
wrong.
it specifically after
But
this
she
match
said-
or just around this
I don't know.
year?
She just came out and said 2018 was when she discovered that she had
Jesus.
part silicone poisoning. So I don't know if it must be fairly-ish close around this time when she was out after a while, because she had them taken out and then put back in.
What do they... is it still the same gear that they... Because I genuinely don't know
You can choose.
this.
There's different types of
What?
implants they can do. I mean, I don't know because I don't have them.
No, well, no, but you
but
don't
I
necessarily need to have
imagine-
them.
Yeah, I imagine there's different... Oh, what are they called? There's saline, silicone... It's all very all over the shop.
And is that... Okay,
But-
you might not know the answer to this. Is that
Probably
size
not.
dependent?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, so I thought that was quite interesting because I thought it obviously probably had no bearing whatsoever on this match, but I thought might be interesting for any that follow
Yeah.
to know that when she then was effectively signed off, I guess, from...
Is there something more procedurally safe now about it? Because I know that there was a big issue back in the day with
Yeah,
this
there was,
treatment.
but I don't remember.
But I don't know if she had it done when this issue was still
Yeah, I
apparent,
don't know,
or
and I
if-
don't know if also for her, I don't know if it's a risk of the job.
Well, I would
Do you know
assume
what I
so,
mean?
especially when you're landing on them half the
Exactly.
time.
So I don't really know. I should have done more research into the boobs.
Is that why Trish had hers reduced because she had kids? So,
I don't know.
because I don't know. Okay, fine.
I don't know.
Some homework for you.
It'd
I will not be researching
I
this
can
for many
research
reasons.
this, but
please.
also same like Beth Phoenix. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting. She's had hers completely taken out.
I've got bigger tits, but that's mainly because I'm fat. But like, it's such a stark contrast, isn't it? But
So
I don't think it's
interesting.
bad
Oh no, I don't mind.
because it
Obviously,
works
I
with the
don't care.
glamazon
You do you like?
thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting to know. But I'll do some more research on Charlotte's tits for you.
Look forward to the next episode, or just send me a message, to be fair. You don't have to wait for the show to tell me about that.
Yeah.
We move on now to the main event of the evening.
Yeah, so I paused at this point, considering that I'd paused before this match. I paused and then I went, oh yeah, I forgot there's another match after this.
Wow.
Because it could have just finished.
I think they got it the wrong order round. But I think...
Oh, it's fucking Ronda Rousey, that's why.
That's why. And to be fair to Ronda, and to give her credit, in terms of the overall UFC pay-per-view buy rate numbers, I think she was, outside of any Brock Lesnar pay-per-view, she was the highest draw up until Conor McGregor came along a little bit after her.
So they've probably intentionally done this to draw people in that probably wouldn't normally watch wrestling.
Legitimately, she is the main event.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they've done that fairly well with the Bellas as well, because Nikki Bella's wrestling was far better than Bree's, and she came along a long way, as I've mentioned before. But she had a reach, albeit slight, outside of the wrestling sphere, where people would have watched it who had no interest in wrestling. So you put in those two in a main event, I get it. But
you probably will get more people watching, but then... anyway,
we know. To me, you can still make the big sell as they can say, "Oh, these are going to be competing." It doesn't have to be the main event. You can say it's a main event,
co-main event,
whatever.
Fine. Just don't put it last.
And we have Ronda Rousey defending her Raw Women's title that she took from poor little Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. And her, by the way, I know that in that match, Rousey, I'm pretty sure, injured Bliss.
Yes, that was the arm drag bit. I remember watching that.
Yep. And which makes me sad.
Very angry about that.
Yep. Yes, I was. So Holly's Girl Crush looking on point.
Absolutely.
Great ring gear as well, because it was like a kind of red and black camo.
Yep.
Thought it was good. In general, as a woman, what do you think of Ronda Rousey?
She's annoying.
Okay, I felt like that was a personal opinion on her.
What do you mean, as in...
From a female perspective.
Not in wrestling.
Just in general.
Not in wrestling.
As a person.
Great.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant as a sports woman. I just don't like her in wrestling. Or I didn't like her in the wrestling, because to me, they gave her a silver platter and went, oh, you're great in MMA, whatever, UFC, whatever it's called. Therefore, come here. No, because you're a shit wrestler.
I don't think she's a shit wrestler.
I really can't bear it. I think there's some... I think, again, the grappling stuff, I think is good because you can bridge the gap between two. But I can't. Also, wear some makeup that doesn't come off.
That's my big thing for her. I hate the makeup that she wears, because all the other women can do it.
Yeah, why can't you?
And it's just immediately smeared all over her face.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I think her wrestling, don't get me wrong, it's not top tier. I'm not putting her anywhere near the likes of... But for someone...
shit, to say it was shit is harsh, because I would actually say she's far better than some of the other actual specific female wrestlers. I just have a real issue with the pushes that she got.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And I thought, for being put in that position, she wasn't as bad as it could have been. Imagine how bad it could have been if you really think about it.
Diabolical.
I think it's because we're now trying to compare it with the likes of Charlotte Flair, and we're expecting perfection right out of the gate.
For sure.
How long was Rousey training for this?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you think how relatively far she came in that time, serviceable. She makes errors. Of course she does. Yeah. You see, like, an example of that, and from a different background, obviously, but Logan Paul still makes errors in some of the stuff he does, but he's picked it up. He's
naturally, I think, very...
But they both have a very similar trait, if you ask me, in terms of how they come across in that environment. They're very naturally dislikable, both of them.
Yes, I think this is probably why I don't like her.
But is that good? Though,
maybe she's done a very good job, because I really don't like her. But then I see, not now, but I saw, at the time, there's all the social media stuff, and there's her, and again, it's so like...
She seems bipolar to me.
Is it real? Is it not real? I don't know. But all the stuff about how saying wrestling is predetermined. It's not fake. Predetermined.
Shit.
But saying all that sort of stuff, and it's like, well, the people that watch it aren't going to like you. Is that why you're doing it? And I just got too in my own head about it, and just was happy for her to go.
I just don't think she knows what she's trying to do. Because a lot of the stuff you see about her is either, oh, everyone really likes her, or she's just an arsehole.
Yeah.
There's nothing in between. Yeah. So I just don't think she knew how to land what she wanted to get across.
And it's very confusing, because I've seen not videos, but like maybe a documentary of where she lives in
it's like out in the
real
sticks,
life.
isn't it?
And they've literally she's got a farm with her husband, but
Travis
also
Brown.
she took in the llama. What's her name?
Jessamine Duke.
Yeah, she took the other girl in with their kids while they were training, because they had nowhere to live. Took them in, and she comes across like very caring and very nurturing. And then, like you say, you get this side of her, and you're like, I don't like you, but I do, but I don't.
She strikes me as someone who, unless she has reason to, will be very nice to you, but her tolerance for what pisses her off, and then you're never going to get her back on side again.
Yeah.
And I think it showed a lot in this match, because a lot of the stuff that she tried to do, because she was a babyface in this, a lot of the stuff she tried in this match came across as a heel to me.
Yeah.
I think one of it was very early on. So just before they actually started the match, when they're doing the introductions, one thing happened, which I think you know how much I hate, because I've mentioned it on a few shows.
Okay.
Do not be shadowboxing if you're not a fucking boxer.
Yes, I know.
And Nikki Bella's there, even if
know.
it's done mocking, which I don't think it is, because she's not doing it, like how Lynch did the overdramatic flare strut. It's not overdramatic enough for me.
I did see that and think, that'll annoy you.
And it did.
I just watch her, so...
And we start off with a really, really dangerous looking judo throw, which nearly sees Nikki land straight on that injured neck of hers again. Everything
about, I think also for me, and yes, I will be her biggest fan, but seeing her paired in a match with someone that's not got to me a long training background, you are asking for...
Especially when you think of the moves that she does.
Exactly. So the whole time I rewatch it, I'm literally tense. I was exhausted by the time this finished.
There was definitely 2 moments that made me wince. No, 3. This was the first one. Fortunately, it was okay, because they over-rotated, so they landed all right. But I think... It sounds bad, but I think because there must be a natural muscle memory to doing those kind of judo throws.
Yes.
So she went to throw like, I'm doing a legitimate judo, not I'm doing a worked judo throw on you. And Nikki went to jump with it, being a wrestling move, and Ronda went, oh shit, yeah, and overthrew it.
Yeah.
That's how it came across to me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Ronda then tries to play Puppet Master and mime Nikki apologising. And this is where I put it, that seems more heelish to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's like she doesn't know how to...
Be a face.
Exactly what you said.
Yeah, I mean, her whole MMA run was her going, I'm bad, I don't care what you think of me. Like the same with that was her walkout theme that she used in UFC as well. So she was sticking to character. And then you see her come out and then she kind of does that laugh, and it feels very not genuine, shall we say. Then Brie distracts Ronda pretty early doors. I mean, we must have seen this coming.
Oh, obviously.
That's why I find it amazing that you quite like Nikki Bella, because they always did this bollocks.
Sometimes it is annoying, but most of the matches, I think, like this one, I don't really care, because I've got my opinion already. It's going to happen.
Same with John Cena.
But also, it's going to happen. But also, it's going to happen. Is it going to make a difference?
Yeah.
It's when it makes a difference that it bothers me, because it annoyed me in the Shayna match.
Yes, because that ultimately led to the match finishing.
Yeah.
But I think you could apply the same logic to John Cena, because you readily admit that you're a big fan of John Cena.
Yeah, I am. Even though he annoys me so much, I really am a big fan.
Every match we've seen of him, you've heavily criticised him. More so maybe than any other male.
Oh, absolutely. But he's still right up there with my top man.
No, I know. Yeah, he was second only to Reigns in that little thing that we did.
It is. I know it is odd, and it makes no logical sense.
So after Brie distracts Ronda, she gets shoved into the ring post twice.
Yeah.
And then Bella starts to take things over with a chin lock before tossing her into the barricade, which Ronda always ragdolls quite well. It looks believable.
Just sell that nicely. Nikki Bella's top here is working harder than any person in that building.
Well, you see that was at the red bra underneath. At one point,
there's a little bit of a move around, and it's just like, she's just going to pop out, honestly.
And back in the room.
Sorry.
And then Nikki does a flex by doing push-ups whilst applying head scissors on the mat.
Yeah.
Didn't mind that, actually.
Yeah, no.
That's good heel work.
Yeah.
we see Rousey's face is driven into the ring post while she's lying in the ring. So Rousey's kind of already lying in the corner. Kind of, I thought she was going to do what she did to Carmella, or what Carmella did to her at the match that we saw at Battleground, I think it was.
Yes.
But no, so they just grab Rousey's face straight into the pole, and then Rousey looks dead.
Yeah.
Sold it very well. Bella just about hits a springboard kick to Ronda. I think the camera angle saved her. I don't think it was one of the better ones. But
no, it's not. I like it when she does it and does it well. But yeah, this was definitely saved by the cameraman.
Oh, for sure. They have a kind of a bit of a struggle on the top rope, and Ronda misses a crossbody, which she lands awfully. And
again, that I understand, because why wouldn't you move?
Yeah, and then the bit that follows
it's like
up,
she moved so much. I was like, where even is Nikki Bella at this point?
Yeah, and this is kind of touches on the next bit here, where we've got a really awkward baseball slide.
Yeah.
Where Nikki tries to go under, doesn't, kind of stops dead in momentum, and Ronda's like, oh, I've lifted myself up and over out the way. I think if that had gone smoothly, that would have looked quite nice, but it just looked very
Yeah,
off.
I noted the baseball slide, and then I've just put 4 dots, because I think I'm just a bit like, I don't even actually know what to say.
I think she was supposed to slide under, and Ronda was supposed to go over, so you missed that bit entirely, but the momentum wasn't enough, and it just looked really awkward. No. This was second awkward moment, and bit where I kind of cringed, is the where she stacked both Bellas on her shoulders. And I don't know what to call that move. I called it like her version of a Death Valley driver, because it's or a Samoan drop. It's halfway between the two.
In my head, that's why it is.
Because the Death Valley driver is where you have them and then you kind of drive them in like an FU, but more you spike them, and then the Samoan drop is you fall back, and she kind of
does a bit of
both. Really. So yeah, I'm sure she called it. I'm sure it wasn't Piper's Pit. Was that what she called it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that rings a bell now. I've said that. And yeah, it looks so dangerous. So dangerous.
I understand what they were trying to do. Like, oh, she's so strong. But I just watched it and I was like, also, you can see all of the work there that the Bellas are doing to stay on her shoulders. And Brie effectively falls climbs up the top and then goes, I actually can't stay here. Yeah. Falls off. And then it's literally, my body just was like, okay, where is this going now? Because whose head are we going on to here?
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
No, it wasn't good. I think it's this move actually that did a lot of damage on women.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. Maybe it was the arm drag that you said on Alexa Bliss, but I always had it as the Piper's Pit because it drives them into their shoulder, kind of on the mat, which can't be good. Rousey then unloads and hits a delayed slap and a very reckless back suplex where she had a clutch for a bit and kind of just throws her.
Yeah.
And again, I'm thinking about Nikki's next. So that's actually the third time that I've had moment to pause and go, oh.
Yeah. Although at least in the next bit, you hear Rousey shout, "You ready?" And I was like, okay, there's no other way apart from that actually being, are you actually ready for this?
Yeah. So just before that, we see Breeze thrown over the announce table on the outside in the worst way you could imagine. But we get an Alabama Slam in the ring from Nikki for a count of 2.
Yep.
And then the Rack Attack 2.0 gets the same. I think that might be the first time someone kicked out of Nikki's finisher, and she looked shocked.
Yeah, and I made a point to say this match has me full of nervous energy.
And it's all neck impact related stuff as well. And then this for me is the biggest criminal of the whole match. It's where Ronda nearly breaks Bella's arm in the way that she takes her off the top rope.
Absolutely. Just grabs her.
And then they kind of yank her, fall backwards.
Yeah.
Eventually puts her in that weird version of a submission for the armbar. Nikki's tapping as soon as it's applied. Yeah. I like the fact that when that move is applied, women, they immediately tap out. There's not like it's a bang, 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 I'm done. Which kind of fell away in Ronda's second run when you think about the match she had with Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't a thing anymore. I like the idea of as soon as that's in, you're done.
Yeah.
And we see Ronda Rousey therefore retain the Raw Women's Championship and an end to the Evolution pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on I think we know your thoughts on the match.
Yeah.
What were your overall thoughts on the show?
It wasn't awful. I just don't know. I feel like the Charlotte match and Lynch match made it. That match with actually I liked the Riot Squad and Banks and all that lot. Again, really liked that. I actually didn't mind the Battle Royal. because to me it was fast paced. I didn't like the ending, but I didn't mind seeing people, if you know what I mean. But
Storm and Shirai you liked?
yes, actually.
And
I don't know, it's odd because when I think about the matches individually, I actually liked them, but I really think this last match, being the last match and just not enjoying it, really pulled the whole match card down, if that makes sense.
The worst matches of the night for me, as I mentioned earlier on, were the first and the last.
Yeah.
The rest of the show I thought was quite good. I didn't like the ending for Baszler, but the match up to that point, I was enjoying. This show for me, if I'm scoring out of 10, probably a 7. I actually quite enjoyed it, especially when you break it down match by match.
Yeah, if I did it match by match, maybe I'd give it a 7, but as a whole for me, I'd put it, it's pushing 6.
And I don't think they could have done much more.
No.
With the personnel that they had in hand.
No.
I think they delivered just about as good of a show as they could have hoped.
Yeah.
So for me, well done.
Yeah.
I liked it. There are definitely shows I prefer to this, but there are a lot of shows worse than this.
Oh my god, yes.
For me, it's a thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean...
Did you feel empowered?
Oh, stop. I felt tired by the end.
Listening to Destiny's Child.
I was exhausted by the end of it, especially that match being lost. Yeah, I mean...
What would you give it out of 10 then? You haven't actually landed on a score.
I think I would do a 6. I think...
6, okay.
Purely because if I'm going match by match, there would be more that are higher. But it is the bookmark. It's the bookmark of you're putting a mediocre match first, and to me you're putting a mediocre match first purely because of the money that one person is potentially bringing in here, and that brought it down for me.
And the first match?
Just the first one was a bit mediocre for me.
Oh, right. So
saying the last one's the money match.
Oh, sorry, you said the first one. That's what I was like.
Sorry, no.
Like, Trish isn't bringing that much money in, is she?
The last one for me is the money match. And then the first... Yeah, it's the bookmarking.
Yeah.
You know? So we've got the high... If we're doing a W, it's not a W. Because there's low, high... I wouldn't even say it's a low M in the middle, like a middle M.
Yeah.
High, low.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because
there's
I
no
obviously
stopping
love
point.
Nikki Bella, but I feel like this was always going to happen.
And I think, to be fair, it's more so on Rousey than it is Nikki. But
also, she was I actually agree that she was the perfect person to put in there because she played being a bitch very well, and their feud together did work very well.
And you see at the end of the match, Nia Jax looking at the TV.
Yes.
I don't remember them actually having a match for the title, but all I was thinking was that match is going to be ugly as fuck.
Oh, God.
Between Rousey and...
I don't remember that if they had one.
I don't know if they did.
Unless she went after... Was there only one championship at that point?
Maybe she did go after it.
I don't remember. That's a Google job.
Yeah, maybe they had a match at Rumble or Survivor Series or something. Who knows?
Remember.
And then you see Rousey go to the back and there's all the women have come out.
That... Right.
Claire's been propped up like a corpse.
Yeah, but also I feel like, again, maybe this is just because I'm their biggest fans, Bellas were just in a match there. They're not allowed to be part of this, which I don't agree with. Like, okay, yeah, just put them at the side.
If they were both faces,
but, yeah,
I think it's fine. Because they're supposed to clearly be heels. I kind of get it. I know what you mean.
I understand why, but it's just a bit like...
Had it been earlier in the night, there would have been. It's just happened to be that was the main event.
Just thought it was a bit of a shame. Like, if you are working there, not as a viewer, but if you were working there and that's how it ended, I'd be sad that I wasn't in that still. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like...
They did a before one, though.
They did,
so
yeah.
They've got that when they all still look very glamorous.
Exactly, when Charlotte Flair can actually walk on her two legs.
But yeah, so that kind of brings us to the end of this show. We got to see an all-women's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We're still very much sticking to the WWE theme at the moment. We haven't ventured outside of that. But I guess you got to link people towards the Win Twice socials. I
do. So, email address, wintwicepod@gmail.com for any suggestions of what we can watch. Instagram is Win Twice Pod. YouTube is the same. TikTok is the same.
We're everywhere, and we're getting some nice traction on YouTube at the moment.
Yes.
I think we jumped up fairly recently. I don't know if it's because of the amount of content we had with those Christmas episodes that went up, but yeah, we've got just shy of 50 subscribers at the moment, which is pretty good for only being going a couple months.
I'm impressed.
So hopefully that takes off. Thank you everyone who has shown support so far. It's greatly appreciated. And until the next time, I hope you enjoyed the show and see you for episode 8.
Bye.
Bye.